the school beauty's personal bodyguard. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101 Welcome to Play. Lin Yi had always believed that practicing the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue only improved his own health, never considering it could also improve and repair others. However, since Jiao Yazi said so, there must be no problem. Lin Yi took a deep breath, accurately pressed his right hand on the old man's destined acupoint, and then practiced a basic formula for practicing the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue. Suddenly, a powerful suction force came from the old man's destined acupoint, and the energy elements in Lin Yi's body flowed out like a flood, pouring into the old man's body. Lin Yi was immediately startled, secretly horrified. Could this be the star-absorbing technique? However, it only lasted for a moment, and the energy elements in Lin Yi's body stopped decreasing. The energy elements released from his body were only a tiny fraction, and had no effect on Lin Yi at all. He felt the old man's heartbeat slowly regain its momentum, his face slowly turning from a sallow hue to a rosy red, and his once rapid breathing gradually became smoother. Healed already, Lin Yi had never imagined that the Xuanyuan dragon taming art he had practiced could have such an effect. Lin Yi, are you dreaming? This is just a return to normal. To be completely cured, you need at least 3 or 4 levels of skill. I've studied the first level of your Xuanyuan dragon taming art, and it only strengthens the body. It's far from enough to heal injuries. Elder Jiao's voice reached Lin Yi's ears. So that's how it is. Lin Yi wasn't surprised or disappointed. If Jiao Yazi had said that practicing just the first level of the Xuanyuan dragon taming art could bring him back to health, Lin Yi would have been horrified. If that was the case with just the first level, wouldn't he have become an immortal in the future? Hubby, look at Dad's complexion. He's better. Really better. His breathing is normal too. The woman named Huru pointed at the old man on the ground and exclaimed excitedly. HMPH, Liu Xuanyuan angrily pushed his wife away. She had spoken rudely to Lin Yi before, and now she was doing this again. They say women change their minds faster than turning the pages of a book, and his wife is a typical example. Brother, how is my father? There's nothing wrong this time, Lin Yi said lightly. You don't have to go to the hospital. He should wake up soon. Really? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Liu Xuanyuan was relieved when he heard Lin Yi's words and thanked him repeatedly. This time, his father suddenly fell ill. If Lin Yi hadn't come to his rescue, his father would have been in great danger. Before, his father fell to the ground, and before the ambulance arrived, Liu Xuanyuan didn't dare to touch him, for fear of causing bigger problems. At this time, after hearing Lin Yi say that he was fine, he quickly bent down and helped the old man up. At this time, the old man on the ground had opened his eyes, breathing slowly and heavily. He said to Liu Xuanyuan in a weak voice, "Help me up, Dad, let me help you." Huru came over obediently and reached out to support the old man. Unexpectedly, the old man snorted and shook Huru's hand away. Although the old man had collapsed to the ground due to heart pain, he was not unconscious and could still hear what was happening outside. Huru's face when she falsely accused Wang Zinayan before made the old man very disgusted. Dad, Huru was startled and wanted to say something else, but was glared back by Liu Xuanyuan. Dad? What are you doing? Liu Xuanyuan helped his father up, but saw his father walking towards Lin Yi and asked hurriedly. Help me go thank this little boy. The old man knew very well who saved him. Seeing the old man's true nature, Lin Yi felt a lot of favor in his heart. As for the old man calling him kid, Lin Yi naturally didn't mind. Considering the old man's age, being around his own, calling him kid was perfectly normal. Old man, you're welcome. I just happened to be passing by, Lin Yi said with a smile. Okay, the old man's complexion had improved considerably. The heart pain was only temporary. Once he recovered, he'd be back to normal. You saved my life, and yet you remain calm and composed. Okay, Xuanyuan, take down this kid's phone number. You must reward him handsomely for what happened today. Yes, Dad. Liu Xuanyuan, upon hearing his father's words, quickly turned to look at Lin Yi. Lin Yi had heard his father's words, so he didn't need to repeat them. No need for a reward. Just let my friend leave, Lin Yi said calmly. Lin Yi didn't care about the idea of a reward. He was now a well-paid young man, not short of money. Besides, his main purpose in getting Wang Xinayan out of this situation was to help her escape. Hearing Lin Yi's words, Liu Xianyu's old face flushed. He glared at her again and said to Lin Yi, "Little brother, I'm so sorry. Don't argue with a woman. This matter has nothing to do with your friend. She can leave at any time." Lin Yi smiled slightly and said to the old man, "Old man, there's no need for a big reward. I'll leave now if there's nothing else. Take care of yourself." "Hello, young man." The old man looked at Lin Yi with admiration. "Looking at your girlfriend's car, I know you're not short of money. So, I won't be so pretentious. Xianyi, give this young man my personal phone number. Young man, when you have the chance to visit Yanjing in the future, call me and I'll personally entertain you." "Okay," Lin Yi nodded and didn't refuse. Since it was the old man's kind gesture, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't object. As for going to Yanjing to play, I have been to Yanjing myself, but do I have the time to go there by myself? However, the old man's words shocked Liu Xianyi. When had his father ever been so approachable? Especially with a stranger? Even if he had saved his father's life, there was no need for him to be so kind, right? His father simply told him to do so, and he didn't raise any objections. He pulled out his business card, quickly wrote his father's phone number on the blank space at the back, and handed it to Lin Yi. Lin Yi took the card and tucked it away without even glancing at it. The old man didn't seem to be unhappy, but Liu Xianyi shook his head. So many people wanted their father's phone number, but couldn't find it. At that moment, the sound of an ambulance finally reached them in the distance. Actually, the entire incident had only taken 20 minutes, and the ambulance had arrived downtown from the hospital, which was considered fast. "Dad, the ambulance is here. Let's go to the hospital for a checkup." Liu Xianyi heard the ambulance and spoke cautiously to the old man. "He's all healed, why would I go?" The old man flatly refused. "I don't even know what's wrong with me. What's the point of going to the hospital?" Chapter 102 Xiao Shu waving her clothes. After hearing what his father said, Liu Xianyi had no choice but to give up. The crowd of onlookers, seeing that there was nothing exciting to watch, dispersed while talking about Lin Yi's miraculous healing skills. Lin Yi also left the place quickly with the crowd. Wait a minute, Lin Yi had not taken a few steps when Wang Xinayan's voice came from behind him. "Hey, what's wrong?" Lin Yi glanced at Wang Xinayan, then pointed to the car not far behind her. "Parking is prohibited here. Aren't you afraid of getting a ticket, huh?" Wang Xinayan was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect Lin Yi to say this. She burst into laughter. "Thank you for today. I didn't expect you to know medical skills. It's just a simple Chinese medicine massage. Buy a book from Xinhua bookstore and you can do it too." Lin Yi naturally didn't want to reveal his own affairs and said it casually. Wang Xinayan hadn't expected it to be so easy, but recalling Lin Yi's technique, it truly resembled a traditional Chinese medicine massage. She nodded. "But anyway, thank you for today. Otherwise, it would have been really hard to get out of this situation." That woman was just being unreasonable. Lin Yi smiled. "I didn't expect to see you here. I haven't thanked you for last time, so this time, we're even, right, even." Wang Xinayan frowned. She had finally mustered up the courage to invite Lin Yi out for a meal to express her gratitude, but since Lin Yi had already said so, she, as a girl, naturally felt embarrassed to bring it up. "Drive more carefully next time, and try not to go to crowded places." Lin Yi nodded at Wang Xinayan. "I'm here with friends today. I'll be on my way." "Okay," Wang Xinayan nodded, somewhat disappointed. Without her family around today, Wang Xinayan didn't have to worry about anything, but Lin Yi had something else going on, which made her feel a little disappointed. Wang Xinayan was very curious about Lin Yi. What happened on the train had left her baffled. After returning home and thinking about it for days, she still couldn't figure out when Lin Yi had taken the money back. He had been sitting next to her the entire time, so if he had made any movement, she should have noticed it, but she didn't. And today's events had made Wang Xinayan feel even more fascinated by Lin Yi. The young man could actually perform Chinese massage, and he seemed quite proficient in it. Otherwise, the old man wouldn't have recovered. What a strange man, Wang Xinayan sighed softly as she watched Lin Yi's retreating figure. She turned and walked towards her car. If Lin Yi hadn't been accompanying Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu, he would have wanted to stay with Wang Xinayan longer. But the situation was different now. If Chu saw him shopping with another pretty girl, wouldn't she be furious? He was there to carry her bag, so Lin Yi still had some self-awareness. "Where are you guys?" Lin Yi pulled out his phone and sent a WeChat message to Chen Yushu. Not long after, the text message came back, "Pengzhan department store, 3rd floor, underwear area." Oh, Lin Yi looked at the message on his hand and sweat dropped. Underwear area? But, this Pengzhan department store, could it be Chu Pengzhan's business? Is the eldest lady on a secret visit? Lin Yi shook his head, looked around, and easily found the big sign of Pengzhan department store and walked over quickly. The scale of this department store is not small. Judging from the sign at the door, there are quite a few brands. There are international and domestic brands, but they are all high-end brands, and even mid-range ones are rare. Lin Yi took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Fortunately, the 3rd floor is not entirely selling underwear, but also bedding and other things. Lin Yi sent a WeChat message to Chen Yushu to let her know that he had arrived. After waiting for a while, Lin Yi didn't see Chen Yushu's reply, so he didn't pay much attention, thinking she was trying on some underwear. Suddenly, someone yelled, "Brother Arrow, here." Lin Yi instinctively raised his head, only to see Chen Yushu waving at him from a distance. But what was that in her hand? It looked like a black bra. Lin Yi broke out in a sweat. Only a quirky girl like Chen Yushu could do something so shocking, right? Under the astonished gazes of the others, Lin Yi brazenly walked towards Chen Yushu. Lin Yi was so thick-skinned that he didn't care about these things anymore. Back then, he even pretended to be a cute girl in order to complete a mission, so Lin Yi wasn't afraid of anything. Seeing Lin Yi approaching like this, Chen Yushu felt a little embarrassed. Seeing the strange looks from others, Chen Yushu quickly put away the underwear she had just bought. Even Chu Mengyao quickly stepped aside, looking like she didn't know him. Chen Yushu was mortified. She hadn't thought much of it before, she'd just been playing a joke on Lin Yi, but she hadn't anticipated the magnitude of the incident. "Xiaoshu, you're so embarrassing." Chu Mengyao glared at Chen Yushu with a dark expression. "How could you do that, Sister Yao? I didn't know everyone would be looking at me." Chen Yushu also looked aggrieved. Fortunately, the shoppers weren't the kind to just sit there and watch the fun. They simply stared in wonder before going about their business. Lin Yi approached, Chen Yushu's face still flushed. Lin Yi was amused. "Have you finished shopping? Is there anything I can help you with?" "It's still early." Chu Mengyao, thinking about Lin Yi's inexplicable rush to help a beautiful woman with a car accident, became angry. "Hold these underwear for me." "Huh?" Lin Yi froze. He was supposed to hold underwear for him? Even though Lin Yi was thick-skinned, it still looked awkward to be following two beautiful women around with underwear. However, seeing Chu Mengyao hand over the bag, Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief. Aside from the lingerie brand printed on it, there wasn't anything unusual about the bag. "Where's yours?" Lin Yi turned to Chen Yushu after taking the bag from Chu Mengyao. Here, Chen Yushu had already packed the lingerie set into the bag and handed it to Lin Yi. So, Big Brother Lin followed the two girls as they shopped at the mall. When they returned with their full bags, Lin Yi had over 10 bags in his hands. Chu Mengyao suddenly remembered, "Lin Yi, you haven't bought any clothes yet." "Me? Isn't that great?" Lin Yi didn't care. "It doesn't matter whether you buy or not, of course. You have to. If you wear a school uniform, people will think Xiaoshu and I are students," Chu Mengyao said firmly. "It seems like you were already students, right?" Lin Yi smiled wryly and nodded. Chapter 103 Fried Mushrooms and Gutter Oil. Seeing Lin Yi coming out of the fitting room, Chu Mengyao's eyes lit up. Although her impression of Lin Yi had changed a lot, and he looked much more handsome in his school uniform than in his previous migrant worker attire, he looked even more dashing in casual clothes. "Humph, I didn't expect this guy to be so handsome. No wonder he's so popular with women. Even Song Lingshan is attracted to him. He's really good at attracting attention. I should have known not to ask him to buy it." Chu Mengyao thought with some contradictions. "Wow. Sister Yao, look at how handsome Wrigley is. I'm more than qualified to be your Wrigley this time. I can guarantee that it will be a hit." Chen Yushu was also very surprised by Lin Yi's transformation. "It seems that the saying clothes make the man is true. How is it?" Lin Yi picked out two casual clothes at random. As for the suit, he decided to forget it. Lin Yi felt that wearing a suit and following behind two young ladies seemed a bit out of place, like a thug. "It's really ugly." Chu Mengyao yawned, took a bleary-eyed look, and said. Lin Yi smiled and looked at Chen Yushu. What do you think, me? Chen Yushu looked at Chu Mengyao with some embarrassment, suddenly feeling a little guilty. Just barely. That's alright then. Lin Yi took out the card Uncle Fu had given him and prepared to swipe it. Let me do it. I agreed to buy it for you, but Chu Mengyao stood up from her chair first and went to the counter to get the check. Lin Yi shrugged. Since Chu Mengyao insisted, there was no need for him to fight. This wasn't a time to show off his gentlemanly demeanor. The money in his card had come from Chu Pengzhan, and the money in Chu Mengyao's card had also come from Chu Pengzhan. Essentially, they were the same. It made no difference whose card it was. We're done. Do you have anything else to buy? Chu Mengyao swiped her card and asked Lin Yi. I also want to buy a laptop, Lin Yi said after thinking for a moment. Oh, the computer, Xiaoshu? Your computer at home isn't working anymore. Why don't you ask Lin Yi to bring it over? Chu Mengyao was a little tired. There weren't any computers in the mall, and buying one would require going to the nearby technology building, a long walk. Sure, Chen Yushu didn't care. Computers were a rapidly changing commodity, after all. She was temporarily staying at Chu Mengyao's house, and she had a computer in her bedroom. By the time she moved back home, it would be time to replace it. So, why not recycle it now and give it to Lin Yi? Since both Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu had said so, Lin Yi naturally had no objections. The three of them left the mall together. Lin Yi glanced at the long line at the underground parking lot and thought Chu Mengyao was pretty good. He hadn't been afraid of getting a ticket before, but with her status, as long as she called Uncle Fu in advance, she figured even if the mall's parking was tight, even if the store's CEO didn't park, he'd have to give it to Chu Mengyao. Arriving at the public parking lot where they had parked, Chu Mengyao took a look and handed the car keys back to Lin Yi. You'll be responsible for getting the car here. Lin Yi took the keys and gave a wry smile. Neither of the two cars in front or behind had moved, so it was impossible for Chu Mengyao to maneuver the car out of such a small space. But this was no problem for Lin Yi. He got in with the keys, maneuvered the car forward and backward a few times, and then nimbly drove it out. Lin Yi got out and took the back seat. Chu Mengyao was a little angry. You still want me to drive you, but I really don't have a driver's license. Lin Yi also looked helpless. What if I get detained for 15 days? Chu Mengyao was speechless, thinking to herself, you and Song Lingshan are in that kind of relationship, who would dare to detain you? But she didn't say anything. She angrily got into the driver's seat and started the car. Sister Yao, are we still going to eat fried mushrooms today? Not far from the commercial street is a snack street with many food stalls every evening. The last time they went shopping, they went out to eat. Chen Yushu was so taken with the fried mushroom stall that her mouth still watered when she thought about it. Chu Mengyao was about to say, sure, but then she thought of Lin Yi in the back of the car and turned away. Hey, are you coming? If not, I'll leave you at home. Yeah, isn't it just eating? I'm good at that. Lin Yi nodded seriously. Chu Mengyao was speechless. There are all kinds of things people are good at in this world, but she had never seen anyone so brazen as Lin Yi to say that he was good at eating. Chu Mengyao wanted to say, besides being good at eating, are you also good at pooping? But that was a bit rude, and since she was a girl, she held it back. Wrigley, we really have similar interests. I'm good at it too. Chen Yushu, however, looked excited, as if it was fate. Chu Mengyao didn't know what to say. It was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I like fried mushrooms. What about you? Chen Yushu, oblivious to Chu Mengyao's expression, excitedly chatted with Lin Yi. I like fried chicken strips, Lin Yi said. Ahem. Chu Mengyao's frustration reached its limit. Haven't you heard of gutter oil? Yes, Sister Yao, but what's the connection between gutter oil and fried mushrooms? Chen Yushu asked naively. Oh, Chu Mengyao stomped on the accelerator, sending the S5 hurtling forward. This was the only way she could vent her frustration. She was completely defeated. Lin Yi was puzzled. Chen Yushu didn't seem so clueless. How could she not even understand the connection between gutter oil and fried mushrooms? But seeing the subtle hint of a smile on her lips, Lin Yi understood. This girl was doing it on purpose. There was still no parking on the snack street, and since parking was not prohibited, there were a lot of cars parked here and there. Chu Mengyao frowned. Every time she went out, her biggest annoyance was finding a parking spot. The number of private cars in Songshan City has increased at an alarming rate over the past 2 years. Chu Mengyao was particularly frustrated by the sudden increase in private car ownership since she got her driver's license. "Stop," Chu Mengyao said to Lin Yi after getting out of the car. "Xiaoshu and I are going to eat. You can buy whatever you want. Don't worry about us." "Oh." Lin Yi disregarded the situation and got into Chu Mengyao's former driver's seat. He found a gap and parked the car in it, so it wouldn't block the road. Lin Yi wasn't surprised that Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashi wanted to go their separate ways. After all, if he followed them around, they wouldn't be able to eat freely. Chen Yashi had grown immune to his influence, but Chu Mengyao was very reserved, and Lin Yi didn't want to spoil her appetite. Chapter 104 Meeting Tang Yun again. After getting out of the car, Lin Yi leaned comfortably against the Audi S5, gazing at the bustling scene in the snack street. "This kind of comfortable life, how long has it been since I've enjoyed it?" Lin Yi lamented his current ease. Before, it was all work, all the time. Even when he passed by a bustling snack street, it was mainly to fill his stomach, never to take in the leisurely scenery. Wow, the air here, mingled with the smell of cooking fumes from the many food stalls and the tang of rotting vegetable leaves, lacked the freshness of the mountain air. However, this urban atmosphere captivated Lin Yi. Someday, if only he could be like these ordinary people, strolling the streets and enjoying snacks, how comfortable life would be. Lin Yi stretched and opened his eyes. Lin Yi was startled to find that directly in front of him, a mother and daughter were walking towards him. They were pushing a tricycle with a barbecue grill and some tables, chairs, and benches on it. If it wasn't Tang Yun and her mother, who else could it be? Tang Yun had clearly noticed Lin Yi, but a flicker of disdain flashed across her eyes, and she turned her head away, avoiding him. Tang Yun's mother, however, hadn't noticed Lin Yi and continued to chat with her. Lin Yi then realized that his posture was somewhat ambiguous, leaning against the Audi S5, facing Tang Yun's direction. The luxurious sports car, his elegant yet languid posture, made him look a bit like those wealthy, handsome men trying to show off in front of a poor girl. But Lin Yi felt wronged. He had no intention of showing off or pretending to be impressive in front of Tang Yun. He was simply lamenting life by the car, and by chance, Tang Yun had caught him. Lin Yi rubbed his chin awkwardly and quickly left the car. By then, Tang Yun and her mother had already approached, pushing a barbecue cart. Lin Yi thought, since he'd seen them, he should at least say hello. "Hello, Auntie." Lin Yi scratched his head and greeted Tang's mother sheepishly. After all, they were his elders, so if they hadn't seen him, that was fine. But if they had, Lin Yi couldn't just turn around and leave. "Ah, you're..." Tang's mother was stunned by Lin Yi. Lin Yi was wearing his newly bought casual clothes today, and standing next to the sports car. Tang's mother didn't recognize him at first. "It's me, Lin Yi. I ate at your barbecue stall with my classmates yesterday," Lin Yi explained. "Oh, it's you. I remember." Tang's mother looked at Lin Yi in surprise. Although she knew he was very powerful in school, one of the foremost powerful bullies on campus, and even Zhu Ruiming was afraid of him, seeing him today made her realize that Lin Yi's family background must be very special. Although she didn't know how much the car was worth, it looked like it was not cheap. Moreover, Lin Yi looked much more handsome in his casual clothes today than in his school uniform yesterday, which made Tang's mother like him very much. "Yuner, when you saw your classmates, why didn't you call them HMPH? Tang Yun felt a little wronged by her mother's words. She looked up at Lin Yi, wondering how could he be so shameless? He'd heard from somewhere that he and his mother were setting up a stall at the snack street this weekend, so he'd rushed over early and was waiting for him. "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to eat." Lin Yi looked at Tang Yun, who was glaring at him, and gave her a wry smile. "Yuner, how dare you talk to your classmates like that?" Tang's mother was displeased with her daughter's attitude. Yesterday, he had not only helped Tang Yun out but also recovered her losses. Setting up a stall near the school seemed safer from bullying, and Tang's mother was grateful to Lin Yi. But seeing that her daughter seemed to be having some issues with Lin Yi, she suddenly became angry. "Of course we're here to eat, what else could we be doing?" Tang Yun, feeling a little aggrieved by her mother's scolding, glared at Lin Yi with resentment, then turned away stubbornly, ignoring him. Lin, don't be offended by this child," Tang's mother explained to Lin Yi, a little embarrassed. With Lin Yi's changed status, Tang's mother's way of addressing him also changed. "It's okay, just call me Lin Yi, Auntie." Lin Yi sweet dropped. He hadn't expected Tang Yun to have such a unique personality. He hoped she could maintain her personality. It wasn't easy for a girl from a family like this to maintain even a little bit of self-respect and pride. This made Lin Yi feel a little more favorable towards Tang Yun. Tang's mother was clearly a little helpless with her daughter. After a few words with Lin Yi, she and Tang Yun pushed the cart towards the snack street. Lin Yi shook his head and followed from a distance, but not too close to avoid Tang Yun accusing him of following her. Lin Yi casually bought 2 skewers of fried chicken strips from a street stall and stuffed them into his mouth. This was an authentic street food, something Lin Yi rarely got to eat. He had forgotten how many years it had been since he had eaten these fried chicken strips. Watching Tang Yun and her mother set up their stall and light the fire from afar, Lin Yi hesitated to approach. Although her mother was a skilled barbecuer, Lin Yi didn't want to be glared at by Tang Yun. Taking advantage of their inattention, Lin Yi quickly walked over and spotted Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu at the end of the snack street. They were sitting at a cold noodle stall, sharing a bowl of cold noodles. The bowl was red, evidently laden with chili peppers. Chu Mengyao took 2 bites, then stuck out her tongue and fanned herself with her hand, apparently overwhelmed by the spiciness. Shen Yashu also ate and drank a drink. Seeing they were alright, Lin Yi felt relieved and stayed away, lest they be embarrassed to eat if he saw them. Since they were surrounded by strangers, they were able to relax freely. Their eating was much more ferocious than usual at home. "Boss, a bowl of wonton noodles," Lin Yi called to the owner of a nearby Zhangji wonton noodle stall. "Okay, young man," the boss immediately responded with a smile when he saw a customer coming, and went to serve wontons to Lin Yi. Lin Yi felt that those snacks were not as filling as the wonton noodles. After eating a few snacks, Lin Yi decided to have a bowl of wonton noodles. While eating wonton noodles, Lin Yi followed Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu out of the corner of his eyes, and saw them come to a fried mushroom stall. Shen Yashu seemed to want to eat, but Chu Mengyao didn't want to. The two argued for a few words, and finally Chu Mengyao had to sit down with Shen Yashu. Haha, it seems that these two girls often have disagreements. Lin Yi paid the money, stood up, and continued to stroll around the snack street casually. Chapter 105 Bargaining Master. In front of the snack street is a department store night market. Although it's a night market, many people set up stalls during the day on weekends, making it just as lively as the snack street here. Lin Yi had nothing to do, and Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu were enjoying their meals over there, so he headed towards the department store night market. Compared to the expensive brand name clothes in the mall, Lin Yi prefers street vendor goods. As long as you have good eyes and know how to bargain, you can still buy fashionable and high-quality clothes at street stalls. Looking at the familiar figure in front of him, Lin Yi was a little amused. It seemed that he and she were really destined to be together. As Lin Yi was heading towards, Tang Yun was squatting in front of a stall selling girls' clothes, holding a dress in her hand, and she looked like she liked it very much. "Can the price be lowered a little?" Tang Yun hesitated for a moment before asking the stall owner. "Little girl, look at this, these are all top-quality fabrics. Look at the workmanship, there's nothing to say. This style is also the most popular this year. If you put it in Pengzhan department store, you definitely won't be able to sell it without 1,000 or 800 yuan. The stall owner spoke leisurely, his saliva flying, as if his goods were the best in the world. It can be seen that Tang Yun is not very good at bargaining, but 200 yuan, isn't it a bit too expensive? It's not expensive. Don't you see, everything has increased in price now. This fabric, this labor, adds up to more than 200 yuan. 200 yuan is the previous purchase price. Now the purchase price has increased. This batch is sold out, and I will raise the price in the future." The stall owner continued to praise his goods. "I'm from the snack street over there. Can it be cheaper? I'll buy it if it's cheaper." Tang Yun gritted her teeth and revealed her identity. "Oh? The one who sells the food in the snack street over there?" The stall owner glanced at Tang Yun and said, "You are the one who sells the food over there, so you should know better. I sell at a low price but quick turnover. How much money can we make selling things in the night market? With so many stalls, who'll have to bid for the price? And we have to pay taxes and management fees to the market every day. There's not much left, huh?" Tang Yun looked at the stall owner weakly. She said, "So, why is he not willing to give a penny cheaper? Could it be that he saw that she liked this dress and that's why he refused to give in? This guy is really hateful." Lin Yi shook his head. It would be strange if Tang Yun could get the price down with her bargaining method. Maybe he would have to help her. Tang Yun's family situation is not very good, and Lin Yi can see it, so it is natural to help her save some money if he can. Hey, buddy, are you selling the food here? Lin Yi walked over and patted the stall owner on the shoulder enthusiastically. Ah. Oh, you're... The stall owner looked at Lin Yi, bewildered, not knowing who Lin Yi was. Have you forgotten me? We were here together last year, stocking goods at Lao Zhang's. Lin Yi smiled and said, I used to set up a stall at the night market south of the bridge. Oh, the stall owner nodded in realization after hearing Lin Yi's words. So it's you, little brother. I was wondering why you looked so familiar. How are you? How's business lately? Hey. Don't mention it. Your sister-in-law is pregnant. I'm at home taking care of her, so I don't have time to set up a stall. Well, my sister came over these past 2 days, so I took some time out to hang out. Lin Yi squatted in front of the stall familiarly. Tang Yun watched in astonishment as Lin Yi and the stall owner chatted animatedly. When had he ever set up a street stall in south of the bridge to sell clothes? When did he get married again? And was he pregnant? Wasn't he in school? Hey, being pregnant is a good thing. Congratulations, the stall owner nodded and congratulated Lin Yi. In truth, he couldn't recall where he'd seen Lin Yi before. Who knew which Lao Zhang was? He had so many places to stock his merchandise, and there must be at least 3 or 5 owners with the surname Zhang. But Lin Yi was so familiar, a colleague in the same field, so it was obvious they'd met and chatted before, and he just couldn't remember him. The stall owner felt a little embarrassed, and couldn't explain it, so he could only pretend to have suddenly remembered and chat with Lin Yi. Oh, forget it. My wife loves beauty, and even when she's pregnant, she still wants me to come out and buy her things, Lin Yi said. I needed some makeup and some summer clothes. I was just about to go to Lao Zhang's, and I ran into you. Just pick up 2 from you, no problem, the stall owner said enthusiastically. You've got a long way to go to the wholesale market, so just pick 2 here. We can't charge you any money, and we all know how much things cost. Well, then, I'll just pick 2, Lin Yi said, casually picking up the dress Tang Yun had been eyeing, and then selecting a pair of men's shorts for himself. After making her selection, she said to the stall owner, let's take these 2. Oh, the stall owner took a look and said, the skirt is 45 yuan, and the panties are 12 yuan, a total of 57 yuan. I'll give you 60 yuan. I still have to pay for the bus fare to the wholesale market, and I can't let you go for nothing. Lin Yi took out 60 yuan from his pocket and handed it to the stall owner. How can I say that? We are in the same business. The stall owner waved his hands repeatedly. We have a small business. My sister-in-law is pregnant, and I feel embarrassed for not giving her a gift. How can I make money? Haha, brother, if you keep this up, I won't dare come next time. 60, that's 60. Is that okay? Lin Yi waved his hand, pretending to be angry. Okay. 60, then, the stall owner took the money with a smile. You're such a good kid, I won't say anything. Come over next time and we'll have a couple of drinks, no problem. Lin Yi nodded and stood up. Brother, I'm leaving now. Tang Yun watched Lin Yi buy her beloved skirt, speechless with shock. 45 yuan? Is this a mistake? This stall owner is so ruthless. He just sold me 200 yuan, which could have bought for. Tang Yun thought angrily. By the way, what did you want to buy? The stall owner smiled and sent Lin Yi away, then remembered there was another buyer here, so he asked. Do you still have that skirt I bought earlier? Tang Yun asked. No, only that one. The stall owner shook his head. Then why did you sell it to him for 45 and to me for 200? Tang Yun couldn't help but question the stall owner. This stall owner was really unfair. He's my colleague. I'm happy to sell it to him for 45. What's wrong? Is it not okay? The stall owner was a little impatient when he saw Tang Yun was hesitating for a long time without buying anything. If she wasn't pretty, he would have ignored her a long time ago. Him? Is he your colleague? Tang Yun looked at the stall owner strangely. Yes, what's the matter? Are you going to buy it or not? The stall owner frowned, thinking why is this girl so nosy? She's not buying anything but asking questions here. Don't let her wife come back with lunch later. Don't misunderstand anything. Oh, Tang Yun shook her head, stood up, turned and walked away. Chapter 106. Who said I gave it to you? Lin Yi's sudden action had left Tang Yun somewhat bewildered. Had Lin Yi ever set up a street stall? When they'd just seen him, he'd been driving a sports car, right? How could he possibly be setting up a street stall? Furthermore, he was clearly a high school student, just like her. How could he possibly be married? And pregnant? Tang Yun rubbed her eyes. Was she too exhausted these past few days, and was this Lin Yi so abominable, that she was hallucinating? Otherwise, how could she possibly have run into Lin Yi in such a place? Regardless of whether the person just now was Lin Yi, Tang Yun still felt that he was somewhat abominable. She'd clearly been the one who'd set her eyes on the dress first, but before she could even agree on the price, he'd snatched it away. How despicable. Tang Yun lowered her head in resentment and headed towards the snack street. She'd finally made up her mind to buy a couple of new clothes, but Tang Yun took 2 steps and nearly bumped into the person in front of her. Startled, she instinctively dodged. Looking up, she saw Lin Yi standing before her, a grin on his face. What are you doing standing here? Are you scaring me? Here's your dress. Lin Yi handed the dress to Tang Yun. Did you buy it for your wife? Tang Yun frowned, somewhat confused by Lin Yi's meaning. Haha, it's just a bargaining tactic. I don't have a wife. I'm just trying to get the purchase price. Lin Yi shrugged. I'm only buying it because I see you're not good at bargaining and I'm afraid you'll get ripped off. Oh, Tang Yun finally understood why Lin Yi had said that before. It was all about bargaining. So, was he buying the dress to give to her? The thought of this possibility made Tang Yun feel even more annoyed. Of course, she wouldn't want the dress Lin Yi gave her. If she wanted it, she'd probably have dozens of boys at school rushing to give it to her if she asked, but she didn't like that. Here, take it. Lin Yi thrust the dress towards Tang Yun. I don't want your stuff. Give it back. Tang Yun dodged, dodging, and said coldly. Who said I was giving it to you? Give me the money. Lin Yi was a bit amused. 45, huh? Tang Yun was stunned. She didn't expect Lin Yi to suddenly ask her for money. Did he buy it for her to please her? Why would he ask her for money? Was he just trying to play a trick on her? Tang Yun felt very uncomfortable at the thought. She wanted to turn around and leave, ignoring Lin Yi, but she hesitated. She really liked this dress. When that person just offered it for 200 yuan, not a penny less, Tang Yun had felt the urge to buy it. Now that this dress was given to her by Lin Yi, she had paid for it herself, so it should have nothing to do with him. Yes, she paid for it herself, so what did it have to do with him? Thinking of this, Tang Yun pulled out her wallet from her pocket. The money inside was only a little over 200 yuan, her monthly living expenses. Tang Yun pulled out a 50 yuan bill and handed it to Lin Yi. Here you go. Without a word, Lin Yi took the money and fished in his pocket for a long time, pulling out 4 1 yuan coins. I don't have any change, so I owe you one, okay? HMPH. Tang Yun snatched the coins from Lin Yi's hand, angrily taking the dress back. She turned and quickly walked away, ignoring Lin Yi. Who did I offend? Good intentions, but a bad outcome. Lin Yi flicked the 50 yuan bill in his hand, stuffed it into his pocket, and headed towards the snack street. After a few steps, Tang Yun calmed down. Thinking about Lin Yi's attitude towards her, it seemed that he wasn't as persistent as other playboys. Instead, he seemed to take a different approach. He was neither cold nor warm to her, occasionally stepping in to help her, demonstrating his gentlemanly demeanor. HMPH, as expected. Thinking of Lin Yi's actions today, Tang Yun stamped her feet. She had fallen for his trick again. He was asking her for money, surely on purpose, to let her down her guard and achieve his goal. Tang Yun wanted to throw the dress on the ground and stomp on it, but she couldn't bear to do so. She sighed and walked angrily to her barbecue stall. Yuner, did you buy the dress? Tang's mother asked with a smile, looking at the dress in Tang Yun's hands. Tang Yun had liked this dress for a long time. She had seen it before but thought it was too expensive and didn't buy it. Today, Tang's mother encouraged her to buy it, and finally Tang Yun made up her mind. Yet, Tang Yun replied absent-mindedly, stuffing the dress into her school bag. How much did it cost? Did you agree on the price? Tang's mother was busy with a barbecue stall and naturally didn't notice her daughter's expression. 45, Tang Yun said calmly. 45? Really? Did the owner ask for 200 yuan? How did you get it so cheap? Tang's mother was a little surprised. Someone annoying me helped me bargain. Tang Yun got angry when she thought about it. Okay, Mom, let's not talk about this anymore. I'll help you. Tang's mother shook her head in confusion. She didn't know who the annoying person Tang Yun was talking about was. She couldn't even thank him for helping her bargain, so how could she be annoying? Lin Yi turned a corner and returned to where Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu were eating fried mushrooms. The two of them had just finished their meal and stood up to pay the bill. Chu Mengyao looked up and saw Lin Yi walking towards her with a pair of large shorts. She immediately exclaimed, "Huh?" Chen Yashu heard Chu Mengyao's puzzled voice and looked up to see Lin Yi. "Brother Arrow, where did you get those large shorts?" Chen Yashu asked curiously, looking at the large shorts in Lin Yi's hand. "I bought them there." "Do they look good?" Lin Yi said, gesturing on his body twice. Chu Mengyao curled her lips. "You don't look like a good person when you put it on. I remember there was a text in elementary school, and there was a sentence called French old rogue." Chen Yashu nodded and said. Lin Yi was speechless. "I won't talk to you anymore, you have a problem with your vision. I spent $15 to buy it." "Huh?" This time it was Chu Mengyao's turn to be speechless. "How dare you show off something worth $15? Chen Yashu covered her mouth and laughed. Only Lin Yi could do such a thing. "Okay, let's go home, Brother Arrow. If you really like this big underwear, go home and put it on and show it to us. You can't change it on the street, right, Xiao Shu? What's so good about him wearing big underwear? Did you change your hair color?" Chu Mengyao pinched Chen Yashu. "I thought you wanted to see it." Chen Yashu blinked and looked at Chu Mengyao innocently. "You were so surprised just now." Chu Mengyao didn't want to argue. Chen Yashu was really a little evil. If she argued with her about these things, it would only make things worse. Chapter 107. Let's wait and see. Arriving at the Snack Street entrance, Chu Mengyao was about to ask Lin Yi to pick up the car, but then she frowned, a hint of annoyance creeping into her face. "Who parked this car? How can you be so uncivilized?" Lin Yi also noticed that Chu Mengyao's Audi S5 was surrounded by several sports cars. These cars weren't high-end, though. They were all modified versions of ordinary cars. The best was an Audi TT, still a notch below the S5. Seeing Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, and Chen Yashu approach, several fashionably dressed young people gathered around and whistled. "Your car." Lin Yi glanced at them and probably guessed that the car they were surrounding was theirs. Otherwise, they wouldn't have happened to be there. "Hey, is this your car?" a young man, dressed very fashionably, asked Lin Yi, looking at the Audi S5. "Move your car out of the way." Lin Yi didn't respond, but gave a direct order with a stern face. "What are you bragging about?" One of the girls pushed the young man who was speaking in front of her away. "Isn't it just an S5? I can afford it. Since you have the latest model, I wanted to talk to you. The car is mine." "Who are you? Get out of the way, or I'll call the police." Chu Mengyao frowned, not impressed by the young woman in front of her. This kind of thing happened to her before, but she always called the police. "Huh? This car isn't yours." The young woman glanced at the car keys in Lin Yi's hand with some surprise. "Driver? Not really. You're one of her gigolos, right? Get lost." Chu Mengyao was furious. Did this guy even know how to talk? What did he mean by a gigolo? Could he tell he was one of my thugs? "Lin Yi, get them out of here." Up. Lin Yi gave a wry smile and said to the young woman, "Did you hear that? My young lady told you to leave." "Your young lady?" The young woman was stunned. "Oh, I see. So you're a bodyguard." Lin Yi nodded without further explanation. "You're so handsome. I thought you were a rich young master." The little girl turned and looked at Chu Mengyao. "Since the car is yours, why would you dare to race around? What's wrong with you? What's there to race around?" "I'm not a moron. Why would I want to race around?" Chu Mengyao said. "If you don't move your car, I'll call the police and have them tow it away." "Tisk, are you going to hit me?" The little girl looked at Chu Mengyao with disdain. "It's not prohibited to park here, so what if the police come?" "Lin Yi, you handle it." Chu Mengyao, furious at the little girl, pointed at Lin Yi and said, "Me." Lin Yi pointed at himself. But since the eldest lady had spoken, when would Lin the big arrow brother take action? Lin Yi took 2 steps forward. "Are you not going to move your car?" It was difficult for Lin Yi to resort to violence against these wealthy young men and women. Most of these people weren't inherently bad, but their rebellious personalities stemmed from a lack of discipline at home. There's a fundamental difference between them and the hooligans who hang around in society. These people are just looking for excitement, while the hooligans make their living by stirring up trouble. "So what if you don't move?" The little girl pinched her waist in disbelief. "Which car is yours?" Lin Yi glanced at her calmly and smiled. "How about this one?" The little girl pointed at the Audi TT that was blocking the S5. Lin Yi glanced at the Audi TT and smiled faintly. This little girl was clearly the leader of the group. And her background was definitely not as simple as the others. Modified coupes like these were affordable for any family with a little bit of money. It wasn't a big deal. And while the lowest-end Audi TT only cost a little over 500,000 yuan, the license plate on this one clearly showed that the girl's family was definitely not ordinary. The license plate read Song at 000. No wonder she was so arrogant. But Lin Yi didn't care. As long as he didn't overdo it, even if the girl's family was very powerful, he wouldn't join in her trouble. And judging by the car the girl was driving, her family probably intended for her to keep a low profile. The license plate was probably obtained by someone in the family or a friend to curry favor with the girl. Lin Yi walked to the front of the Audi TT and placed one hand on the rear end. The little girl and the others fell silent, staring at Lin Yi with some surprise, unsure of his intentions. "I say, this idiot isn't trying to push the car, is he?" The stylish young man who had spoken earlier spoke up, as if he saw what Lin Yi was up to. "Are you crazy? This car weighs over a ton, and the parking brake's on. You can't push it." Lin Yi ignored him. Instead, he transformed his hand into a palm and swiftly pushed the rear end of the Audi TT forward. With a seemingly simple palm strike, the Audi TT was propelled forward. With a whoosh, a row of tire marks were left on the ground. "Holy crap! Is that true?" The young man who had earlier smugly called Lin Yi an idiot was suddenly dumbfounded. "You can even push this, my car?" The young woman was startled, horrified and distressed. Seeing her tires scuffed, she couldn't help but exclaim. But Lin Yi hadn't gone too far. She didn't have a good excuse to start a fight. The whole incident had started because she blocked someone's car. Thinking of this, the young woman looked at the young man for help. "Are you looking for death? You dare to touch Sister Feng's car? You don't want to live anymore." The young man had acted as a flower protector more than once. In situations like this, it's not often that a girl steps forward, but he had no qualms and jumped right in. "Sister Feng?" Lin Yi was shocked. Had he encountered the legendary figure? He took a closer look at the young woman's face. This wasn't Sister Feng. Even with a heavy, non-mainstream makeup that made her look ghostly, she was still different from Sister Feng. It's probably just a coincidence of names. Lin Yi ignored him, shoving him aside. As everyone watched in horror, he then sideways pushed a coupe blocking the S5. While pushing the Audi TT from the rear was impressive, anyone with a bit of strength could do it. But pushing the car sideways from the side was far more challenging, and the resistance was unpredictable. The young man wanted to say something, but seeing Lin Yi's strength and the fact that this was a busy city, while picking a fight was fine, a fight wouldn't be the right approach. He uttered the word "you" and froze. "I'll remember you. As long as you're still in Songshan, we'll see." The young woman glared at Lin Yi fiercely. Today, this guy had completely humiliated her. She was determined to get even with him someday. Chapter 108 Find someone to investigate him. After pushing the car, Lin Yi ignored the little gangster's words and got directly into Chu Mengyao's Audi S5. He quickly maneuvered the car out of the small space he had just created. His speed and precise distance amazed everyone present. The space Lin Yi had created was not large, just enough for one car to pass through. Just right means the distance between the cars was no more than 2 centimeters. With such a distance, it would be difficult for most people to control. Even the slightest deviation could result in a collision. But Lin Yi effortlessly maneuvered the car out, and at such speed, he seemed to have no regard for the possibility of scraping nearby cars. A master. This guy is actually a master car driver. Pengzhan Group, the little gangster from before, was startled. She had assumed this guy was just a strong and handsome guy, chosen by a wealthy lady to be her bodyguard and lackey, but she hadn't expected his driving skills to be so formidable. Pengzhan Group frowned slightly. Although she didn't hire a personal bodyguard, she knew the price of private bodyguards. Hiring a bodyguard like Lin Yi, with his handsome looks, immense strength, and unparalleled driving skills, wouldn't be easy. Even if he did, it would definitely cost a fortune. Pengzhan Group also took some interest in the two young ladies behind Lin Yi. She noted the license plate number of the S5 and planned to investigate. Lin Yi pulled the car out of the way without even a glance at Pengzhan and the others. He got out and got into the back seat. Chu Mengyao only then realized that Lin Yi wasn't so hateful after all. At least today's incident had earned her enough face. In the past, Chu Mengyao would have called the police to resolve this situation, but Lin Yi quickly pushed the car blocking the road aside and moved his own car out of the way. He looked at Pengzhan with some pride, and under Pengzhan's murderous gaze, he got into the car, stepped on the accelerator, and drove away. Pengzhan was very angry. She had no ill intentions at first. She just happened to see a new Audi S5 sports car here this year. She wanted to see who the owner of this sports car was, so she asked him to race around, but she didn't expect to run into such a guy. Although the car was not Lin Yi's, but that of the so-called young lady behind him, in Pengzhan's opinion, Lin Yi was even more hateful than that young lady. He was completely a lackey of a rich lady. He looked quite handsome, pushed the car quite stylishly, and his driving skills were impeccable, but he was a lackey for others, and he was so proud of it. Thinking that she was actually bullied by someone else's lackey, Pengzhan was even more angry. What kind of thing was this? Even other people's servants bullied her. Humph, next time I meet you, I will let you know how powerful I, Pengzhan, am. Sister Feng, what do you think? The fashionable young man was also embarrassed. It turned out that he called Sister Feng instead of Sister Feng, but his voice was a little out of tune because he spoke loudly. In the eyes of the fashionable young man, anyone who can drive an Audi S5 is not an ordinary person. Their families also run some businesses. Although they are not particularly powerful, they have more or less come into contact with the upper class of Songshan. They are people who know the importance of things. It is not advisable to make enemies easily without knowing the other party's background. Although their father has some power, it is just average. If they really provoke a powerful person, they will be in big trouble. If it were an ordinary person, this fashionable young man would have brought people to beat Lin Yi up in order to show his courtesy to Pengzhan. But as the saying goes, you have to look at the owner before beating the dog. Chu Mengyao is obviously not a person of low status. The fashionable young man dare not act rashly, lest even his father be implicated. What are you looking at? Let's go, Pengzhan snorted coldly, with an unhappy look on her face. It's boring, Sister Feng, how about I find someone to investigate that guy? The fashionable young man was not stupid, and he knew that Chu Mengyao was not easy to mess with, so he cleverly shifted his attention to Lin Yi. In his opinion, as long as Lin Yi was not with Chu Mengyao, it didn't matter. It was just a servant, and he could do whatever he wanted. Even if something really went wrong, even if the other party had some power, they would not make a big fuss with the families of people like them because of a servant. Although their families were all middle class, Pengzhan's family was not ordinary. Go, and by the way, check the license plate of her Audi S5 for me. It says 5555, a good brand, Pengzhan snorted, tacitly approving of the fashionable young man's approach. Got it, Sister Feng, I'll get someone to check right away. The fashionable young man nodded, took out his phone, and made a call. After a few words, his expression suddenly changed. Brother Lan, what did you say? The car has a secret license plate? How can it be? It's clearly a civilian number. Is he related to someone else? What? A special license plate? Okay, I get it. After hanging up, the fashionable young man looked bitter. Sister Feng, this car actually has a secret license plate. Pengzhan had naturally heard the conversation from the fashionable young man, and her expression was understandably no better. The car had a secret license plate, which was quite possible. Her father's car had a secret license plate. This was very common among some government officials and people of status, and ordinary people were not allowed to investigate it at will. But the fashionable young man's next words made Pengzhan frown. A special license plate? That was interesting. Special license plates were not something that anyone with a little influence in the local area could obtain. Even if he could use his connections to make his car a secret file, the license plate would still belong to a civilian car. But even so, what would it matter? The person Pengzhan wanted to trouble was not her, the master, but that lackey. Humph, considering her father's status, even if he was from the special department, he wouldn't be able to do anything. Thinking of this, Pengzhan felt relieved and said to the fashionable young man, don't worry about the car for now. Check the identity of the bodyguard for me and see who he is and which company he belongs to. No problem, Sister Feng. Originally, the fashionable young man was a little embarrassed when he heard that Chu Mengyao's car was a secret file of the special department. With the strength of his family, he couldn't afford to offend such a person. But when he heard that Feng Xiaoxiao only asked him to target the bodyguard and not Chu Mengyao, he breathed a sigh of relief. I have secretly taken a picture of his image with my mobile phone just now. I will find someone to investigate. Oh? Really? You took a picture? Feng Xiaoxiao was stunned. Then she was happy and said, send it to me via WeChat. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109, If you practice again, you will explode. Lin Yi naturally didn't take those brats seriously. Although he was only a high school student, seeing them made him think they were just as childish as Zhong Pinliang and Zhu Ruiming from school. Hey, when we get back, I'll have Uncle Fu get you a driver's license and buy you a car. From now on, you'll be the one driving, right? Chu Mengyao glanced at Lin Yi in the rearview mirror. Lin Yi was deep in thought at the moment, not paying attention to Chu Mengyao's words, thinking she was chatting with Chen Yushu. Seeing Lin Yi ignoring her, Chu Mengyao became a little angry. Hey, are you talking to you? Huh? Calling me? Lin Yi finally realized. Miss, you're calling me. Of course I'm calling you. If not you, would I call Xiaoshu? Chu Mengyao was driving, too busy to glare at Lin Yi. Oh, if you call me uncle, I'd be happy to agree. Lin Yi looked at Chu Mengyao with a sly smile. Huh? Chu Mengyao was stunned for a moment, then she understood Lin Yi's intention. Furious, she slammed on the brakes. Chen Yushu, caught off guard, nearly slammed into the windshield. Sister Yao, what are you doing? Sorry. Chu Mengyao gritted her teeth at the sight of Lin Yi, who appeared perfectly fine. She'd intended to stop the car suddenly to shake him, but while Lin Yi was fine, Chen Yushu was nearly injured. Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, a little furious, turned and glared at Lin Yi. Did you hear me talking to you earlier? What? Lin Yi hadn't really heard what Chu Mengyao said. He'd assumed she was talking to Chen Yushu, so he hadn't listened carefully. Nothing. Chu Mengyao didn't want to waste time on Lin Yi. She thought, after all, you're hired by my dad. If I tell you to drive, you have to drive. No need to discuss this with you. Oh, Lin Yi dismissed the idea, dismissing it as just Chu Mengyao throwing a tantrum. After returning to the villa, Chu Mengyao angrily dragged Chen Yushu upstairs. Chu Mengyao thought Lin Yi was abominable. He was obviously a follower hired by his father, but he was so careless. Lin Yi naturally didn't take it seriously. As a young lady, it was normal for her to have a temper. He was too gentle to her, and instead something bad happened. In the evening, after Lin Yi finished washing up, he couldn't wait to fall asleep. He wanted to ask Master Jiao about the energy. It was the first time Lin Yi knew that energy could save people. He originally thought that the energy in the body would only work on himself, but he didn't expect it could help others. Come here. Master Jiao stood quietly in the virtual space of the jade pendant, just like yesterday. Master Jiao? Lin Yi was excited upon seeing Master Jiao. What's going on with the energy in my body? How can it help others? Everything in the world needs energy to survive, but they acquire it in different ways. For example, humans and animals eat and get energy from food, while plants get energy from water and nutrients in the soil. What's different about you is that you can draw energy from nature, Jiao Yezi explained. Although the energy you absorb is more complex than the energy converted by the body, its properties are similar. This energy has an effect on you, and naturally it has an effect on others as well. It's just that you can convert it, while others can't. They can only use you as a carrier to absorb the energy you've converted. In other words, the energy in my body can be transferred to others at any time. Lin Yi was excited upon hearing this. If that were true, others could achieve the same goal by absorbing the energy in his body, without having to practice. Of course it's impossible. Elder Jiao's words poured cold water on Lin Yi. At least after studying the first level of the Xuanyuan Yulong Jue, I found it impossible. I don't know if the later levels are feasible, because I haven't seen the specific practice formulas, so I can't say. What about today's incident? Lin Yi was also disappointed after hearing Elder Jiao's words. As I said before, the reason that old man was able to absorb the energy you released to him was because his own energy was no longer sufficient to maintain normal myocardial function. Only under these special circumstances could he use your energy, Elder Jiao said. Under normal circumstances, the energy of an ordinary person's body is sufficient to maintain the functioning of their organs, so they don't need your energy. My explanation may not be very clear, because these formulas and exercises were passed down by my great-grandmaster, and I only have a limited understanding. Although Elder Jiao's words were a bit complicated, Lin Yi still understood what he meant. Under normal circumstances, the energy of ordinary people is ineffective against them. It only works in emergencies. In other words, energy only works on ordinary people when something is wrong with their body, Lin Yi asked. You could say that, but the effect is merely maintaining function. Restoring these damaged organs is impossible, Jiao Yezi said. That's what I said today. You can certainly revive him, but a cure is impossible. I do have other ways to cure him. Through acupuncture and herbal medicine, he can slowly recover. This time, Lin Yi wasn't particularly disappointed. Just getting first aid was already a great achievement. He needed to maintain the condition first, and other measures could be considered later. However, since he had no relationship with the old man today, there was no need to offer to provide follow-up treatment. Being too enthusiastic would only make people think he had ulterior motives. Lin Yi got the answer he wanted and calmed down to continue his practice. However, just as he entered his training state, he was interrupted by Elder Jiao. Lin, what are you doing? Elder Jiao asked with a frown. Practice. Lin Yi looked at Elder Jiao with some confusion. Could he see what he was doing? You don't have the second-level mental formula, so why are you continuing to cultivate? Don't you know that too much energy in your body, without the correct formula to guide it, can easily cause you to explode and die? Old Jiao glared at Lin Yi with a look of "Are you stupid?" Lin Yi was shocked. He hadn't expected such a statement. It was a blessing that he and old Jiao had established contact so early. Otherwise, if by some chance he had broken through to the first level while cultivating outside, he might have exploded to death if you had continued practicing. But didn't you waste some energy treating that old man today? Lin Yi was a little embarrassed. Don't you need to make it up? You can make it up after a good sleep. You don't need to practice. Jiao Yezi rolled his eyes, speechless. This kid really doesn't know anything. Is he a complete idiot? Chapter 110 Family Banquet. Sleeping can replenish energy. Lin Yi was stunned and a little incredulous. Kid, you're overthinking it. Sleeping replenishes energy, of course. Why do ordinary people sleep? Do they have nothing to do? Isn't it just to replenish energy? So it's the same with you. Although you've practiced the Xuanyuan dragon taming technique, you're still a human being at heart. You haven't mutated. Jiao Yezi looked at Lin Yi with pity. Don't overcomplicate things. It's actually a simple principle, even a child understands it. Oh, I see. Lin Yi blushed slightly. Jiao Yezi's words made sense, but he had been overthinking it. That's it, Jiao Yezi nodded. Go get some sleep. You look like you haven't slept in ages. Poor kid, so pitiful. That night, Lin Yi fell into deep sleep, the most sound sleep he had had since leaving the cave. It turned out that sleep really did replenish energy. When Lin Yi got up, he felt refreshed. He stretched and went to the bathroom to wash up. Lin Yi put on the casual clothes he had bought yesterday and left his room. The living room was empty, so Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu probably hadn't woken up yet. General Weiwu stood guard at the staircase leading to the second floor. While Lin Yi was a little curious about what a girl's room looked like, he didn't want to peek in. He had to do it openly, right? Lin Yi pushed open the door to the villa and entered the courtyard. Weekend mornings in the villa area were quiet, devoid of the usual traffic, only the occasional passing car. Huh? Lin Yi stood at the doorway for a moment before he saw Uncle Fu's Bentley slowly approach and stop at the villa's entrance. Mr. Lin, are you outside? Uncle Fu smiled and nodded at Lin Yi, noticing him. Uncle Fu, so early? Lin Yi checked the time. Yao Iao and Xiaoshu aren't up yet, are they? It's getting late, they should be getting ready. Mr. Lin, wouldn't you like to change into something more formal? Uncle Fu asked, surveying Lin Yi's casual clothes. Me? Change into something formal? What for? Lin Yi was stunned, looking at Uncle Fu with some confusion. Mr. Lin, don't you know? Mr. Chu holds a family dinner every Sunday. In the past, Miss Chu, Xiao Shu, and I attended, but this time, Mr. Chu specifically instructed me that Mr. Lin must come as well, Uncle Fu explained. Family dinner? Lin Yi hadn't expected Chu Pengzhan's family to have such a custom, but since he'd been invited, he naturally wouldn't refuse. Okay, but I don't have anything formal. This one I bought yesterday. Besides, it's just my school uniform, haha, Uncle Fu couldn't help but laugh. That's fine too. It's a family dinner, so it doesn't matter. Mr. Lin, please get in the car. I'll go get Miss Chu and the others. Oh. Okay, Lin Yi nodded, opened the door, and sat in the passenger seat. Watching Uncle Fu enter the villa, Lin Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. Honestly, this mission was the most leisurely Lin Yi had ever been, but also the most baffling. Lin Yi had been tricked by his old man into taking on a mission that, if successful, would earn him a lifetime of commissions. But even now, Lin Yi still hadn't figured out what this mission entailed. Was he supposed to spend all day playing with a young lady? Was he supposed to be her bodyguard, nanny, tutor, or even a shield? While it might be challenging, it didn't require him to be a top-tier assassin or agent with a profile like S rank. Besides, Lin Yi wasn't stupid. He wouldn't think that doing these things would earn him a lifetime of commissions. What a joke. Unless Chu Pengzhan was completely out of his mind. Now, it seemed Chu Pengzhan was quite intelligent, and that was exactly what Lin Yi was puzzled about. If it weren't for the old man's strong recommendation and assurances, Lin Yi would have suspected some conspiracy. But Lin Yi also knew that while the old man might be a bit shady, he definitely wouldn't harm him. This was a key reason Lin Yi felt comfortable staying here. Even if the eldest daughter was a beauty, Xiao Shu was charming, and there was an interesting schoolgirl from the lower class, Lin Yi wouldn't have time to play around here. It would be a disaster if he got killed playing around. Not long after Uncle Fu went in, Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu came out. Their attire was different from yesterday. Compared to their youthful, dazzling looks yesterday, they looked more ladylike, a bit like socialites. Uncle Fu opened the car door for Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu, and waited until they were in before returning to the driver's seat. Chu Mengyao was surprised to see Lin Yi in the passenger seat. She hadn't expected her father to invite him to the family dinner. Chu Mengyao was actually quite smart, but Lin Yi often made her look stupid. Since Lin Yi was allowed to sit here, it must have been his father's idea. Uncle Fu wouldn't have taken the initiative to invite Lin Yi. Although it seemed now that Lin Yi wasn't as annoying as he had initially been, being his lackey was a good fit. But was his father really that confident in letting a grown man live in his house permanently? Uncle Fu started the car, and it slowly drove out of the villa area, heading towards the city center. Mr. Chu's family dinners are all held at the Pengzhan International Hotel in the city center, which is also a property under Mr. Chu's company. This was Lin Yi's first time attending a Chu family dinner, so Uncle Fu explained a few more things. Who else will be there later? Are there any rules? Although Lin Yi was used to his freedom, he couldn't be too unruly since he was attending his employer's family dinner. In the past, besides Miss Chu, Xiao Shu, and me, it was Mr. Chu, Uncle Fu said. As for rules, there aren't any. Family dinners are meant to be relaxing occasions, and there aren't many rules. Don't eat so much, just make a fool of yourself, Chu Mengyao, remembering Lin Yi's appetite, teased. Uncle Fu naturally knew that there was a little gap between Chu Mengyao and Lin Yi, and smiled slightly. Mr. Chu doesn't like extravagance, so it would be best if Mr. Lin could eat it all, Uncle Fu. Chu Mengyao was a little unhappy when she heard Uncle Fu's words, and started to act coquettishly. Why are you singing against me? Chu Mengyao was just saying it casually. She knew what kind of person her father was, and what Uncle Fu said was really right. Just now, she was just making a sarcastic remark about Lin Yi without thinking too much. Now that she was exposed by Uncle Fu, she felt a little embarrassed. Miss Chu, an old man, can't make up stories about Mr. Chu's habits behind his back. I can only tell the truth, Uncle Fu laughed. Chu Mengyao pouted, but she couldn't refute it. Chu Mengyao herself was a little confused. Why did she like to be angry with Lin Yi so much? She knew that this guy was irritating, but she still got angry with him. Chapter 111. Something is wrong. Uncle Fu's car drove directly into the underground parking lot of Pengzhan Hotel without any obstruction, and then several people went directly to the top floor of the hotel through a dedicated passage. This place was obviously not open to the public, and there was no one coming and going. Uncle Fu took Lin Yi and others directly to the door of a private room and knocked. In fact, apart from Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu had been here many times and were very familiar with it. "Please come in," Chu Pengzhan's voice came from the room. Uncle Fu pushed open the door of the private room, but did not go in. Instead, he turned to Chu Mengyao and said, "Miss Chu, Zia Oshu, Mr. Lin, please come in." Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu were obviously used to it. Uncle Fu's image as an old butler has been deeply rooted in them over the years. Lin Yi was a little embarrassed. "Uncle Fu, please come in too, Mr. Lin, you are a guest," Uncle Fu said firmly. Lin Yi had no choice but to enter the private room. Seeing Chu Pengzhan inside, Lin Yi smiled and greeted him. "Uncle Chu, hello, Zia Yi, come sit down." "Haha, don't be shy. It's just a family dinner," Chu Pengzhan greeted Lin Yi with a smile. "You'll get used to it. It's a fixed weekly dinner, unless I'm away on business." Haha, Lin Yi could only smile bitterly. How could he attend someone else's family dinner? Uncle Fu was Chu Pengzhan's confidant, and Chen Yashu was Chu Mengyao's best friend and childhood friend. It was natural for him to attend the family dinner, but even Chu Mengyao, who was standing by, was extremely surprised. What kind of confusing drug had Lin Yi given his father that his father actually let him attend the family dinner? Moreover, he told him to get used to it. Doesn't it mean that Lin Yi would be a part of every family dinner from now on? Although Chu Mengyao had already accepted the fact of Lin Yi's existence, she just couldn't swallow it. Lin Yi was so infuriating, his lazy, arrogant demeanor. So many people tried to shield him, but he, on the other hand, wasn't even a chance. Not only was he so careless, but he also pissed her off. Chu Mengyao didn't know that her competitive streak would become something she deeply regret later. "Brother Arrow, you'll be a member of our family from now on. Please take care of me." Chen Yashu, however, greeted Lin Yi like a good girl. "Take care of you?" Lin Yi rubbed his nose. "Who's taking care of who, you little girl? You're always using chicken feathers as a token of authority, threatening me like a piece of rag and bone toilet paper. Yao, how's it going? Are you satisfied with Zia now?" Chu Pengzhan smiled at his daughter. "What's the big deal? If you're not satisfied, can you still fire him?" Chu Mengyao felt a little aggrieved. I think Zia Oshu and him get along pretty well." "What's wrong with you?" Chu Pengzhan asked. "No," Chu Mengyao shook her head. In fact, she was still quite conflicted. The scene of Lin Yi standing up that day would always flash in her mind, but Lin Yi's nonchalant attitude of not taking her seriously also made Chu Mengyao angry. It seemed that he treated Zia Oshu better than herself. This was what Chu Mengyao was most unwilling to accept. Why was she so bad? If Zhong Pinliang hadn't been pestering her, Chu Mengyao would even think that she had become ugly recently. "Since there's nothing, you two should get along well. You are all the same age. Daddy will feel relieved to see that you have a companion." Chu Pengzhan listened to his daughter's words and nodded with satisfaction. Chu Mengyao sighed. "This is simply inviting a wolf into the house. She is an innocent little girl, but she lives under the same roof with a stinky man. Of course, this is not the most annoying thing. The most annoying thing is that Lin Yi seems to have no interest in herself." The dishes were quickly served one after another. It was obvious that the chefs here put a lot of effort into preparing the family banquet. The dishes were not luxurious, but common home-cooked dishes, but the colors and matching were very sophisticated. As Chu Pengzhan was, he had no interest in delicacies from land and sea. Delicious and healthy food was what he needed. Since Chu Pengzhan asked Lin Yi not to be polite, Lin Yi would not be polite. Who was going to get angry with his stomach? There was no need to pretend. Chu Pengzhan and Lin Yi were in an employment relationship, so there was no need for excessive politeness. So, under the contempt of Chu Mengyao and the astonishment of Chen Yashu, Lin Yi ate heartily. Chu Mengyao felt a chill. "Brother, can you not be embarrassed? After all, you are my follower." She glanced at Chen Yashu secretly and found that Chen Yashu did not look too surprised. Chu Mengyao breathed a sigh of relief. "Humph, he is just a follower. Why should she care about him so much? What does it have to do with her if he dies of eating?" Chu Mengyao comforted herself in this way. During the meal, Lin Yi ate the most. Chu Mengyao was really impatient. "Lin Yi, are you going to pack up the food later?" "Yeah, that's what I thought," Lin Yi nodded. Chu Mengyao was speechless. Chen Yusu was laughing secretly. But Chu Pengzhan was still looking at Lin Yi with a smiling face. Ever since the last bank incident, Chu Pengzhan's impression of Lin Yi couldn't be better. Before, when he heard the old man at home nagging all the time, Chu Pengzhan didn't take it seriously. Now it seems that his father's vision of people is still quite accurate. Yao, you, Xia Oshu and Uncle Fu go down first. Xia and I will pack up the food. Chu Pengzhan stood up to look for the lunchbox. Chu Mengyao was a little stunned. Although her father was not a luxurious person, he had never packed the food before. Chen Yushu, however, looked at Chu Pengzhan thoughtfully, a glint of incomprehensible light flashing in her eyes before returning to normal. She took Chu Mengyao's hand and said, "Sister Yao, let's go first." Oh, Chu Mengyao was puzzled by her father's behavior, but she didn't dare ask. She felt certain that his attitude towards Lin Yi seemed better than his towards her. What? Just a hired lackey. Uncle Fu walked ahead to pick up the car, while Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu followed behind. Chen Yushu tugged at Chu Mengyao's hand. What's up, Xia Oshu? Chu Mengyao looked at Chen Yushu, who was walking slowly, with some confusion. Sister Yao, I have a feeling. Chen Yushu hesitated, then expressed her thoughts, her previous moment of confusion buried deep within her heart. Feeling? What feeling? Chu Mengyao looked at Chen Yushu, confused, not understanding what she was talking about. Sister Yao, do you sense that Uncle Chu seems to have a problem with Lin Yi? Chen Yushu asked in a low voice. Well, Xia Oshu, you figured it out too. Chu Mengyao was just wondering about this question, and when Chen Yushu said this, she nodded repeatedly. Chapter 112 Is it an illegitimate child? Chapter 0112 Could it be an illegitimate child? Vote for the monthly ticket. Fourth update, Daddy seems to care about him more than me. And his attitude is so nice. Chu Mengyao frowned slightly. Yet, especially when Uncle Chu told you to get along well with Lin Yi. You two are the same age, don't you think that this attitude is a bit ambiguous? Chen Yushu analyzed. If Lin Yi was just a follower hired by Uncle Chu, would he have to say that? Look at how strict Uncle Chu has been in dealing with you and your male classmates over the years. How could Uncle Chu let a man live with us for no reason? That's true. Chu Mengyao nodded in agreement. Indeed, she had received a good family education since she was a child. She was strictly told that she was not allowed to have a relationship before the age of 18, nor was she allowed to go out with boys. Although she was already 18 years old now, wasn't this attitude change a bit too big? Chu Mengyao couldn't believe that her father had suddenly become so open-minded and enlightened, putting a grown man in her own home. There must be something fishy going on. If Chen Yushu hadn't reminded her, Chu Mengyao, though surprised, wouldn't have given it much thought. After all, those involved were often confused, and she'd have attributed Lin Yi's presence to the fact that he'd given her father a potion. But think about it, how shrewd is Daddy? He runs the massive Pengzhan Group, so how could he be tricked by a scoundrel like Lin Yi? It's unlikely, no matter how you think about it. So, in other words, Lin Yi's presence here was actually something his father genuinely approved of. What exactly led to his father making such a decision? And Uncle Fu seems to respect Brother Arrow very much. Chen Yushu hit the nail on the head. Whether Chu Pengzhan admired Lin Yi or not was not important. The key issue is that Chu Pengzhan admired many people. So many young talents in the company were recruited by him, but these people's attitude towards Uncle Fu could not be more respectful. After all, Uncle Fu was an old man around Chu Pengzhan. The company's vice president would respectfully call him Brother Li when they saw him. But towards Lin Yi, Uncle Fu's attitude seemed different from that towards those company employees. It was more like his attitude towards herself and Chu Mengyao. Oh, Chu Mengyao frowned even tighter, and became more suspicious of Lin Yi's identity and the purpose of her daddy arranging him to be by her side. Sister Yao, in short, I think your daddy or Uncle Fu's attitude towards Brother Arrow is too ambiguous. It seems that they treat him like a family member instead of a hired person. Chen Yushu expressed her thoughts. Although this idea might scare Chu Mengyao, as Chu Mengyao's best friend, she still needed to say it. Listening to Chen Yushu's analysis, Chu Mengyao suddenly thought of a terrifying possibility, one that even frightened her. Xia Oshu, do you think Lin Yi could be Daddy's illegitimate child? Chu Mengyao stared at Chen Yushu with wide eyes, a bit panicked. Otherwise, why does Daddy like him so much, huh? Chen Yushu was also stunned this time. She hadn't expected Chu Mengyao to come up with such a fantastical reason. Uncle Chu's illegitimate child? Chen Yushu felt a chill run down her spine. But this possibility was basically impossible. The two of them didn't look alike at all. How could it be possible? Chu Mengyao was too powerful to even come up with such a possibility. What's wrong, Xia Oshu? Chu Mengyao also saw Chen Yushu standing there blankly, and suddenly felt that she seemed to have misunderstood. Am I wrong, Sister Yao? Your imagination is really too strong. Brother Arrow is about the same age as you and me, right? If he is an illegitimate child, it must have happened before and after Uncle Chu met your mother, but was it possible at that time? Was there a chance? Chen Yushu shook her head speechlessly. Well, then I was wrong? But apart from this, what other explanation is there? Chu Mengyao also gave up her idea. It was too unreliable. Sister Yao, I think Uncle Chu is choosing a son-in-law. He regards Brother Arrow as his son-in-law, Chen Yushu said with a sly smile. But for some reason, Chen Yushu felt a little uncomfortable when she said this. Choosing a son-in-law? Chu Mengyao opened her mouth in astonishment and looked at Chen Yushu stupidly. Xia Oshu, are you serious? I don't know whether it's true or not, it's just my guess. Chen Yushu shrugged. It just feels a bit like him to me, but maybe not. How is that possible? I'm only 18 years old, it's impossible, absolutely impossible. Chu Mengyao blushed and shook her head. Xia Oshu, what do you think? I think you and Brother Arrow are a good match. Chen Yushu smiled. He can drive, cook, and do kung fu, which is great. I don't want it. Chu Mengyao subconsciously refused, but in her heart, that strange feeling surged restlessly. Daddy really wants him to be my boyfriend? Is it not just a pretense? If so, he can protect me. The scene in the bank had already made Chu Mengyao feel deeply secure and dependent on Lin Yi. But the eldest lady's little self-esteem and arrogance made her think Lin Yi was even more hateful. If that were true, and he was still flirting with other girls, how could Daddy fall for such a man? It must be that Xia Oshu and I had misunderstood. Perhaps Daddy had other deeper intentions. Fearful and anxious, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu arrived at the underground parking lot and got into Uncle Fu's Bentley. Chu Mengyao sighed softly. Xia Oshu, what do you think your previous guess is likely to be true? Maybe 0%, maybe 50%, or even 100%. Chen Yushu had returned to normal and said with a grin, but I think it depends on what you hope for. Sister Yao, me? What do I hope for? He likes Song Lingshan, and that pretty girl I met on the commercial street yesterday. What does that have to do with me? Although Chu Mengyao was making up stories about Lin Yi, her tone was a little sour. Chen Yushu smiled, but sighed in her heart. Could it be that Sister Yao was also moved? After Uncle Fu checked the car, he got in. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu stopped talking. Chu Mengyao's expression was sometimes happy and sometimes angry, but no one knew what she was thinking. Chen Yushu pursed her lips and thought to herself, Sister Yao must be in heat. I should have known not to tell her. Chapter 113 Murderous Intent. A lot had happened recently. Although Chu Pengzhan had subtly threatened and warned those scoundrels during the company's board meetings, he couldn't control anyone determined to oppose him. Therefore, Uncle Fu had been extremely cautious both outside and at the company. Although his car was parked in the company parking lot, Uncle Fu carefully inspected the exterior of the vehicle for any tampering before driving. A bomb wasn't a possibility, but damaging the brakes or puncturing the tires was a possibility. Uncle Fu had to be extremely vigilant. Chu Pengzhan and Lin Yi were the last to walk. Lin Yi had already guessed Chu Pengzhan's intentions. Chu Pengzhan wouldn't be so enthusiastic about packing up. He had asked Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu to go first, as if he had something to tell him. Uncle Chu, what's up? Lin Yi asked as he packed the food on the table into lunch boxes. Haha, you can't hide anything from me. Chu Pengzhan also picked up a lunchbox and helped. I've already secretly investigated the previous company incident and identified a suspect, but there are some face and vested interests involved. Without absolute proof, I can't take action. Uncle Chu, do you want me to collect evidence? Lin Yi asked. That's not necessary. Just stay with Yao and make sure nothing happens to her. I can handle the company's affairs for now. Chu Pengzhan shook his head. That's fine. Just let me know when you need me, Uncle Chu. Lin Yi thought to himself, do I need evidence to do anything? Just tell me who you suspect and I'll take care of it. Why bother looking for evidence? But Chu Pengzhan was his employer, so Lin Yi would do whatever he said. Xia Yi, Do you have enough money? Being with Yao must be quite expensive, right? I heard you went shopping together yesterday. Chu Pengzhan changed the subject. It wasn't a big deal. Lin Yi shook his head, pointing to his clothes with a wry smile. Miss Chu paid for this casual outfit. I haven't spent anything yet, haha. When a man goes shopping, he spends money. That's how he shows his masculinity. Chu Pengzhan laughed. Well, I'll have Li Fu get you a credit card later. You can just swipe it when the time comes. Okay. Lin Yi smiled and shrugged, not refusing again. It was a gift of money, so why would he refuse it? Although Lin Yi didn't know why Chu Pengzhan did this, he had no habit of refusing money from his employer. The two of them emerged from the elevator and walked to the underground parking lot. They walked together towards Uncle Fu's car park. After a few steps, Lin Yi's jade pendant reacted. Lin Yi's heart trembled, and he went on alert, his eyes scanning the surroundings. Yi, what's wrong with you? Chu Pengzhan suddenly noticed that Lin Yi hadn't left, and was immediately puzzled. There's murderous intent, Lin Yi said calmly. Huh? Chu Pengzhan was stunned. Murderous aura? Chu Pengzhan didn't feel it, but he also knew that murderous aura was something mysterious, and it wasn't surprising that Lin Yi could sense something that ordinary people couldn't. Lin Yi didn't say anything else. He suddenly pulled Chu Pengzhan and dodged to the side. Bang! With a loud bang, a huge chandelier came crashing down, landing on the spot where the two men had been standing, shattering into pieces. Chu Pengzhan's face paled instantly. Looking at the chandelier fragments on the ground, anger flashed in his eyes. The chandelier was huge. If Lin Yi hadn't reacted quickly, the two men would have been hit by the chandelier, whether they continued walking along their previous trajectory or stopped. The chandelier was made entirely of glass. Although it wouldn't kill them if it fell on their heads, it would definitely injure them. These people actually dared to do this. A trace of anger flashed across Chu Pengzhan's face. They were so bold. Chu Pengzhan knew that this was retaliation for his warning at the board meeting on Friday. It seemed some people had reached the point of being so brazen that they not only dared to kidnap Chu Mengyao, but now resorted to such tactics. Uncle Fu, from the car, also witnessed what was happening. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu naturally saw it too, staring blankly at them. After a moment, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu cried out. It was truly terrifying. Uncle Fu, relatively calm, hurried over to Chu Pengzhan. Mr. Chu, are you alright? Call security and investigate what's going on. Close the underground parking lot and hold everyone still, Chu Pengzhan ordered gravely. No need. Lin Yi looked at the cut on the chandelier where the wires were connected. He stood up and said to Chu Pengzhan, someone used a sharp weapon to cut the chandelier wires into very thin sections. Oh, Chu Pengzhan was slightly startled, then looked in the direction Lin Yi pointed. Sure enough, there was a neat circle of cuts on the chandelier wires. Chu Pengzhan's expression darkened. But how did they calculate the time? The chandelier fell just as we were passing. I guess the light was off beforehand. When we passed, the power suddenly came back on. The thin wire wasn't enough to keep the chandelier running, so it instantly fused, causing it to fall, Lin Yi said. Of course, that's just my guess. Maybe they have other methods. Chu Pengzhan was no fool. He immediately understood that Lin Yi's hypothesis was likely. If that was the case, then there was no need to investigate. Since their opponents had managed everything so meticulously, even if he searched now, he wouldn't find anything. They must have destroyed all the evidence. Let's go. Chu Pengzhan took a deep breath, suppressed his anger, and walked towards the car with Uncle Fu. Yi, you sit in the back with Yao and the others. I'll take the passenger seat, Chu Pengzhan instructed Lin Yi. Okay, Lin Yi nodded and turned around to open the back door. However, when he saw Chu Mengyao in the back seat, Lin Yi hesitated and turned to Chen Yashu's side, opened the door, and sat in. Compared to Chu Mengyao, Lin Yi and Chen Yashu had a more harmonious relationship. The Bentley car had a lot of space, and it didn't seem crowded for three people to sit in the back seat. Before, Chu Mengyao thought Lin Yi was going to sit over, and her heart tightened and she felt a little nervous. Thinking of what Chen Yashu had said to her before, she couldn't help but blush. Chapter 114, Worrying About Gains and Losses. Daddy is looking for a son-in-law. Well, Lin Yi seems quite handsome now. And for a girl like Chu Mengyao who grew up in a wealthy family, whether the man is young and rich is no longer important. Compared with those wealthy second generations, Chu Mengyao hopes to find a man who can concentrate on her, protect her and cherish her. Obviously, Lin Yi can protect her. She has nothing to do with him now. He is just someone hired by daddy. He can stand up and protect her when she is in danger. If he becomes her boyfriend, won't he be more careful to protect her? Thinking of this, Chu Mengyao's face turned redder. Chu Mengyao, who has never had any experience in love, began to feel a surge of love. She didn't think much of it before, but after Chen Yushu said that, she started to worry about this issue. But, the most hateful thing about Lin Yi is that he seems to be very fickle? Or is it that she is not attractive to him? Why did he get together with Song Lingshan and the tall girl he saw yesterday as soon as they met? Is it because he is too young and immature? Chu Mengyao felt sad when she thought of this. She looked at Chen Yushu next to her. Her figure was much fuller than hers. No wonder Lin Yi seemed to treat Chen Yushu better than himself. This pervert must have been attracted by Xiaoshu's bigger breasts than his. Chu Mengyao thought bitterly, HMPH, this guy wants to sit next to me, I must teach him a lesson. It would be best to pretend to step on him or push him unintentionally when Uncle Fu breaks, so that he knows the consequences of despising himself. However, Lin Yi looked at her, but did not come to open the car door. Instead, he ran to Chen Yushu, opened the car door and got in. This made Chu Mengyao's face look a little ugly. What do you mean? You were hired by my dad to be a shield for me. You should sit next to me. What's the matter with sitting next to Xiaoshu? Chu Mengyao frowned and wanted to shout, Lin Yi, come sit here, but because her father and Uncle Fu were sitting in the front, she hesitated for a moment and finally didn't shout out, but her face was a little unhappy. The car started slowly. Chu Pengzhan took out his mobile phone, dialed a number, his face a little gloomy. Director Chen? This is Chu Pengzhan. Hello, Mr. Chu. Director Chen of the Songshan City Police Department answered the phone, and when he heard that the other party was Chu Pengzhan, his tone suddenly became much better. Chu Pengzhan is not only the largest private entrepreneur in the local area, but also a famous philanthropist. Most importantly, he is very familiar with provincial and municipal leaders. Director Chen, I want to ask, how is the bank robbery case going? Has the suspect who kidnapped my children been caught? Chu Pengzhan was really angry now, and he didn't even tell his daughter and Chen Yushu to make the call. The criminals were so rampant. They just tried to kidnap his daughter a few days ago, and now they're attacking him again. There's no news yet, Director Chen said helplessly. The suspect is very cunning, and the license plate is fake. There's no valuable clue yet. Well, Director Chen, please let me know if you have any news. Chu Pengzhan was still very polite to Director Chen. After all, he was asking him to do something. Okay, I'll have someone hurry up. Director Chen hung up the phone with Chu Pengzhan and called Song Lingshan's office directly. Xiao Song? This is Chen Dafei. Come to my office, okay? Song Lingshan heard that Director Chen's tone was a little bad, so she quickly put down the things in her hands, gave a few instructions to her subordinates, and went to the director's office. After knocking on the door, Song Lingshan heard the director's voice. Come in. She finally entered. Director, you're looking for me. Xiao Song, you're here. Chen Dafei adjusted his glasses and put down the documents in his hand. Please sit down. What's the progress on the bank robbery case? Any progress? Director, our criminal police team has established a 313 task force. We've sent people to conduct a portrait search, but there's no news yet, Song Lingshan reported carefully. She was in charge of this case. Yang Huaijin had recently been seconded to Lin City to handle a case and was expected to be promoted to deputy director after that. Therefore, the responsibilities of the criminal police team fell to Song Lingshan. However, without Yang Huaijin's protection, Song Lingshan realized the immense pressure of leading a task force. Previously, Yang Huaijin had made decisions and led his own team to execute them, never having considered the pressure from so many parties. Now that she was leading the team, Song Lingshan felt the rigors. However, no matter how difficult it was, she had to grit her teeth and persevere. There were no weaklings in the Song family. If she gave up like this and returned to the Song family in disgrace, she would be looked down upon by others. Hurry up. I won't say much about the importance of this case. It involves Chu Pengzhan's daughter. We must solve it as soon as possible. Bring the suspect to justice, Chen Dafei said. Well, give me a time limit. How long will it take to solve the case? Song Lingshan hesitated slightly. In the past, It was Captain Yang Huaijin who signed the military order in the director's office, but this time it was her turn. Although Song Lingshan had no confidence, since the heavy responsibility had been placed on her shoulders, Song Lingshan still said, "Director, I promise to arrest the suspect within 10 days, not just half a month." When Song Lingshan said half a month, she saw Chen Dafei's eyebrows raise slightly, and quickly changed her words to 10 days. "Well, that's it, 10 days. I'll wait for your good news." Chen Dafei nodded with satisfaction. Song Lingshan returned to her office with a frown on her face, and she carefully recalled what direction Yang Huaijin would start from. But after thinking for a long time, Song Lingshan rubbed her temples helplessly. She had no clue. The circumstances of each case are different, and the means of solving the case cannot be universal. When Song Lingshan was in trouble, the phone on the table suddenly rang. Song Lingshan hurriedly answered the phone. "Hello, Song Lingshan from the criminal police team, Captain Song. This is Lu Liqiang from the Outer City branch." Lu Liqiang is the captain of the criminal police team of the Outer City branch. "Captain Song, we received a report that 2 male corpses were found in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Through our preliminary identification, it should be the suspect leader Lu Jian, nicknamed Baldhead, of the 313 bank robbery. There is another corpse, which should be his subordinate, and the identity needs to be verified." Chapter 115, Don't Mess Around. "Okay, I'll be there right away." Song Lingshan's heart sank. Finding the ringleader should have been cause for celebration, but now, she couldn't feel happy at all. Because they hadn't found a living person, but a corpse. This meant there might be a hidden story behind the case. The bald man might have been silenced. If that were the case would become even more complicated, making it incredibly difficult to find the true culprit. However, despite her headache, Song Lingshan hurried to the scene. "Sister Yao, what's wrong with you?" Chen Yushu also noticed that Chu Mengyao seemed down, her face sullen. She had thought she was being a little more obedient because of Uncle Chu's presence, but after a while, she realized that wasn't the case. "Nothing." Chu Mengyao shook her head. Although she was a little annoyed by Lin Yi's lecherous behavior, she couldn't get jealous of her best friend, could she? "Oh, I think yesterday's fried mushrooms are better than today's dishes." "What do you think?" Chen Yushu nodded and suddenly asked. Chu Mengyao was speechless, but was amused by Chen Yushu. "Zia Oshu, you will only be able to make a living by selling things on the street. When you get married in the future, your husband will have to save a lot of money." I'm getting married, so won't you? Besides, that will save you money." Chen Yushu looked at Chu Mengyao mischievously and said with a smile. "Give me a favor." Chu Mengyao's face suddenly turned red. She understood what Chen Yushu was talking about. She couldn't help but raise her hand and hit Chen Yushu. "Why are you still talking about childhood things? We made a promise when we were young." Chen Yushu's face flushed slightly when she said this. She glanced at Lin Yi from the corner of her eye. Uncle Chu wouldn't really have this idea in mind, would he, to recruit Lin Yi as his son-in-law? "I won't tell you any more." Chu Mengyao's expression was a little unnatural, and she turned her head away. The childhood things Chen Yushu talked about were a little secret between the two of them. They had never told anyone else, but when they grew up, they would occasionally joke about it. 6 or 7 years ago when they were in junior high school, they watched a TV series about a pair of best friends who had a very good relationship since childhood. In order to be able to be together every day in the future, they married the same man. "So," Chen Yushu said foolishly, "Sister Yao, you are getting married, I will marry you too, so that we will never be separated." When Chu Mengyao heard that this was a good thing, she nodded and agreed, and the two of them made a promise that they would never change their minds. As they grew older, they realized how ridiculous this matter was, but they still joked about it. Especially when Chen Yushu grew up, she didn't want to call Chu Mengyao sister anymore. After all, they were classmates, and calling her sister felt a bit childish. But Chu Mengyao used this matter to threaten Chen Yushu, saying that after we get married, I will be the eldest wife and you will be the youngest wife. Of course, you have to call me sister. If you don't, she will tell everyone about it. Chen Yushu had no choice but to call Chu Mengyao sister, as she had for so many years. However, after calling her that for a while, it became a habit. Anyway, Chen Yushu's birthday is younger than Chu Mengyao's, so calling her sister is not a disadvantage. Of course, no one else knew about this matter except Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. Lin Yi listened to the two girls talking about obscure things in a somewhat puzzled manner, shook his head, and did not ask, because Lin Yi knew that even if he asked, there would be no reply. Lin Yi sat aside, slightly closed his eyes, seemingly taking a rest, but actually doing something else. Mr. Jiao, the jade pendant's warning before, you, Lin Yi didn't know whether the jade pendant's warning was related to Mr. Jiao. Before, when he was in the jade pendant space, Lin Yi didn't think of asking about this matter. Warning? Jiao Yezi was visibly stunned. What warning? I didn't feel it, you didn't feel it, Lin Yi was taken aback. Just before, when the chandelier was about to fall, I felt the jade pendant send me a warning. This signal always warns me when I'm about to face danger. Honestly, I didn't feel it, Jiao Yezi thought for a moment. Nothing special had happened before. So is this the ability of the jade pendant itself? Lin Yi knew that old Jiao couldn't be lying. If he said he didn't feel it, then he definitely didn't feel it. It's possible. I told you, this jade pendant was left by my great-grandmaster. I don't know what other abilities it has. You need to discover it yourself, or you can open the stone door of the cave and you'll find something new later, Jiao Yezi explained. Okay, Lin Yi said helplessly. It seemed that old Jiao didn't know the uniqueness of the jade pendant. The cultivation space might just be one of its functions. The car stopped at the villa entrance. After dropping off Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, and Chen Yushu, it drove away. It was obvious that Chu Pengzhan had to go back and deal with the chandelier incident. Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao suddenly came to her senses and looked at Lin Yi. Huh? Lin Yi looked at the young lady in confusion. You're not allowed to flirt with other girls while you're working, Chu Mengyao mustered up her courage. She had been thinking about this question the entire time she was in the car, and after getting off, she immediately went all out to explain it to Lin Yi. Huh? I didn't, Lin Yi was stunned. Was the young lady unhappy with him flirting with girls during work hours? If you're doing it, correct it. If you're not, try to improve it, Chu Mengyao snorted, naturally not wanting to mention Song Lingshan and the tall woman. Oh, okay, Lin Yi nodded. Then when you're not working, is that okay? My dad paid a lot of money to be my shield 24 hours a day, to be at my beck and call. You're never not working, Chu Mengyao finished, then turned and took Chen Yushu away. Damn it, Lin Yi smiled bitterly, slave owners in the old society wouldn't play like this, right? Do you think I'm a contract laborer? This girl, Sister Yao, you were so handsome when you got mad just now, Chen Yushu looked at Chu Mengyao excitedly. If you don't teach him a lesson, he won't know the world. Don't think that daddy values him and do whatever he wants. Go and rape people, how can you deceive Zhong Pinliang? Chu Mengyao herself didn't know what she was explaining. But Sister Yao, Zhong Pinliang still doesn't seem to know that Arrow brother is your boyfriend. You don't talk to Arrow brother at school, and you let Zhong Pinliang teach Arrow brother a lesson. Chen Yushu looked at Chu Mengyao with a smile. Otherwise. I will tell Xiao Liangzi tomorrow when I go to school that Arrow brother is your boyfriend? And you are living together so that he won't bother you again. He seems to be very afraid of Arrow brother now. I guess he will be scared to death when he knows the news. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116 Troubled Song Lingshan. Ahem, Chu Mengyao almost fell to the ground. Boyfriend? Living together? This Xiaoshu, she wanted to piss herself off to death. However, Chu Mengyao really had no choice but to put on a stern face and change the subject. Xiaoshu, you are a girl. What are you talking about? Fart, urine, how uncivilized, don't say it in the future. Oh, okay, I won't say it, Chen Yushu nodded. It's good that you don't say it anymore. Chu Mengyao breathed a sigh of relief. Sister Yao, if you don't have any objection, tomorrow I will tell Xiao Liangzi about the matter between Brother Arrow and you, Chen Yushu continued. Chu Mengyao wanted to beat Chen Yushu up. Didn't you say it anymore? This little girl Chen Yushu, Chu Mengyao also understood. What she meant by not saying it, was just not to say those uncivilized words, but this matter still had to be said. Xiaoshu, the timing is not right yet. Lin Yi just transferred here, and we've already acted as if we're not familiar with him. If we talk about our relationship right away, Wouldn't it seem fake? Everything has to be a gradual process. If we talk about this matter after a while, it won't be so abrupt, said Chu Mengyao. Oh, then I'll listen to you, Sister Yao. Chen Yushu nodded. I don't care anyway. It's agreed that you are the first wife, you choose the man. I'm just for reference, Zia Oshu. Chu Mengyao wanted to hammer this girl to death. Why do you always mention the past? You are not stupid. If I get married, can you really marry me? That's hard to say. Chen Yushu hugged Chu Mengyao. If I don't want to separate from you, then we can be together. I really don't know what to say to you. Chu Mengyao shook her head, a little speechless. The two went upstairs hand in hand. Chu Mengyao ordered General Weiwu. General Weiwu, you performed well. Keep guarding for us and don't let that man come up. Woof woof. General Weiwu felt a little aggrieved. If he wants to go up, how can I stop him? Songlingshan was very upset. Lu Jian was dead, and the clues were cut off all of a sudden. Only Lu Jian's bald physical feature was more obvious and easy to search. The other subordinates were much more mediocre than Lu Jian. According to the forensic examination, Lu Jian likely died in a state of panic, a single gunshot wound. The other male corpse, also one of the bank robbers, was similarly killed in a state of panic, also a single gunshot wound. A thorough search of the area for hundreds of miles revealed no other bodies besides these two. This meant that only two of the kidnappers were dead, while the others might still be alive. This was good news. If all the robbers were dead, Songlingshan would have been even more troubled. The fact that only two were dead suggested a conflict within the group, or they were silenced afterward. An online search confirmed the identity of the other male corpse, Liu, a 29-year-old unemployed man from Niudin village, Jiagao County, Songshan City. He had a poor reputation in the village and was considered a slacker. At the beginning of last year, he said he was going to work for someone and left the village. His whereabouts have been unknown since then. Apparently, his acquaintance with LVGIN happened after Liu left Niudin village, so this clue wasn't very meaningful. After much hesitation, Songlingshan decided to call Yang Huaijin for advice. Otherwise, she had no clue. The military order had already been issued. If she didn't solve the case within 10 days, the chief wouldn't dismiss her, but it would be embarrassing. If word got out to the Song family, not only would she be embarrassed, but her father would also be embarrassed in front of the other uncles. Brother Yang, it's me. Songlingshan felt a little uneasy. After all, making this call would make her look incompetent. She had been learning from Yang Huaijin for so long, but there had been no progress, which was embarrassing. In the past, Yang Huaijin had always led the charge, and she had been the vanguard. With her experience as a special forces instructor, she could beat even the most brutal suspect to pulp. Therefore, Songlingshan was a strong point in dangerous arrest missions, and it was a recognized fact in the police station. Otherwise, a female captain wouldn't let others win over easily. Xiao Song, what's up? Yang Huaijin had a meeting that afternoon and nothing to do this morning, so he planned to go for a checkup with his old Chinese doctor. He'd been ill a few days ago, and while it was probably Lin Yi's fault, his health had been noticeably worsening over the past few months, and Yang Huaijin could still sense it. Captain Yang, we still don't have any leads on the 313 bank robbery case. 2 suspects are dead, and the fate of the others is unknown, Songlingshan said carefully. Yes, I understand. Yang Huaijin naturally understood Songlingshan's predicament and sympathized with her. After all, she wasn't a criminal investigator by profession and hadn't received systematic training. So, he offered his opinion. Let me tell you what I think. I think the possibility of them being silenced is relatively small. If they were silenced, it's impossible for only 2 of the group to die while the others are fine. What if they were silenced by someone else? Are they the only 2 who aren't one of us? Songlingshan asked humbly. Is it necessary? If they are all family, why bring 2 people who are not family with them? Isn't this asking for trouble? Either they are all reliable people, or they are not. Yang Huaijin smiled and said, so, I think the possibility of internal strife is greater. The most likely thing is that the spoils are not evenly divided and the internal opinions are not unified, so Lu Jian and Liu were killed by their accomplices. Yes, that's right, Songlingshan nodded in agreement. In this case, we can just increase the intensity of the search. They have such a large amount of money. Unless they don't want it, it will be difficult for them to move too quickly. Our people are checking the main traffic routes. It is unlikely that they will leave Songshan. Search the area around the measuring body and you may find something, Yang Huaijin said. Yes, I see, Song Lingshan suddenly felt enlightened. Haha, Xiao Song, I heard that you and Lin Yi are dating. Yang Huaijin hesitated for a moment, but still asked. The police station had already spread the news of Song Lingshan's brave deeds in private. In the hospital, she served her boyfriend. Although Yang Huaijin didn't quite believe that Lin Yi could get together with Song Lingshan. Not to mention that Lin Yi is not the kind of person who likes to flirt with others. Let's talk about Song Lingshan. She has been in the police station for so long, and there has been no news of any scandals. Even a man as outstanding as Chen Yushan was rejected. But, as the saying goes, which girl doesn't have spring in her heart? No matter how outstanding Chen Yushan is, he is still a far cry from Lin Yi. Even a girl as outstanding as Xiaoning is infatuated with Lin Yi, let alone Song Lingshan. Chapter 117 Master of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Huh? Song Lingshan was stunned, then her face darkened. She hadn't expected her idol, Captain Yang, to be so gossipy. She'd always thought Yang Huaijin was the kind of meticulous and serious person, yet he actually asked such gossipy questions. It's not like Song Lingshan hadn't heard the rumors going around the police station these days, but she just couldn't explain them. It was obvious that the more she explained about this kind of thing, the more it got uglier. Anyone with eyes would have misunderstood what she'd seen at the hospital. Since the others had their mouths, Song Lingshan had no choice but to let them talk. After a while, the storm would subside. But when Yang Huaijin suddenly asked, Song Lingshan didn't know how to explain. Captain Yang, I didn't, haha, the police force doesn't restrict dating. It's your freedom. Seeing Song Lingshan hesitate, Yang Huaijin thought she was shy, so he smiled and said nothing more. It wasn't his turn to comment on Lin Yi's affairs. His previous excitement was just to defend Xiaoning, but Lin Yi was the soul of their team and would always be their captain. Captain Yang Song Lingshan was speechless. Haha, but you can ask Lin Yi for help, maybe you can catch the suspect soon. After saying this, Yang Huaijin felt a little regretful. I'm sorry, I betrayed you, but thinking of the relationship between Song Lingshan and Lin Yi, Yang Huaijin was relieved. If Song Lingshan and Lin Yi really have reached the point in the rumors, then with Ying's character, it is impossible for him not to help Song Lingshan. Him? Catch the suspect? Song Lingshan was stunned. Yang Huaijin on the other side had hung up the phone. Song Lingshan was so angry that her teeth itched. Lin Yi, you bastard. You have ruined my reputation. However, Song Lingshan just thought about it hatefully, and then quickly arranged the police force. According to Yang Huaijin's analysis, a large-scale search was started in the area around the male corpse scene. After hanging up the phone, Yang Huaijin hurriedly drove to Songshan Medical University. Songshan Medical University is one of the most renowned medical universities in China, even enjoying a certain reputation worldwide. Many international students flock here to study traditional Chinese medicine, all for the simple reason of Guan Zumin, the dean of the School of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Guan Zumin holds a high reputation in the global medical community and is a leading figure in the field. While the Guan family may not be a prominent one, with Guan Zumin in their care, they have become a transcendental presence among the other great families. Who dares to claim they are free of illness? Who dares to claim they can't rely on Guan Zumin for help? So, even though the Guan family has only grown and prospered in the past decade or so, they are no less powerful than the other great families. Their foundations are still shallow, but that's no problem. Who would cross the Guan family? Crossing the Guan family would be crossing the other great families. Yang Huaijin's Yang family is also a prominent family, so it's no surprise that they can rely on Guan Zumin for treatment. Guan Zumin rarely teaches anymore, except for his weekly lectures to the students of the School of Traditional Chinese Medicine. Although it was aimed at students from the College of Traditional Chinese Medicine, many students from other colleges and departments also came to listen to Guan Zumin's lectures. One reason was because of Guan Zumin's reputation, and the other was because Guan Zumin could really say something useful. Guan Zumin's residence was in the school's family quarters, an independent villa area, where school leaders and prestigious academician-level professors lived. Although Yang Huaijin was driving a police car, he was still stopped when he entered the villa area. He was allowed to pass after a careful registration. After all, there were many national-level academicians like Guan Zumin, and some even had international titles. After parking the car downstairs of Guan Zumin's villa, Yang Huaijin got out of the car and was about to ring the doorbell, But the door of the villa happened to be opened. A beautiful girl came out. When she saw Yang Huaijin, she was slightly startled, then smiled and said, "Brother Yang, you came to see Grandpa Xixin going to work." Yang Huaijin saw that Guanxin was dressed beautifully but neatly, so he guessed that she was going to work. Yet, Guanxin nodded. "We need to leave early, or we'll miss the bus. You don't have a car." Yang Huaijin was stunned by Guanxin's words. Guanxin was actually taking the bus. "I just started working, how can I afford a car?" Guanxin smiled. "Brother Yang, Grandpa has guests. You'll have to wait a while after you go upstairs, okay? Then hurry up and don't be late." Yang Huaijin nodded at Guanxin. It was obvious that Guanxin didn't rely on her family. Such wealthy girls were rare. Even Song Lingshan had her own car. Guanxin hadn't locked the door before. She was familiar with Yang Huaijin and knew he was no bad person, so she was very confident in him. So Yang Huaijin didn't ring the doorbell again, but went straight into the villa and upstairs. In the second-floor living room, he saw Guanxin taking an elderly man's pulse. Two middle-aged people, a man and a woman, stood beside the elderly man. "Mr. Guan, how is my father's condition?" the man asked cautiously, looking at Guanxin. "Not very good, that's very serious." Guanxin didn't mince words, stating directly to the old man, "Myocardial function is deteriorating. A cure is nearly impossible. Regular acupuncture can help manage it." The old man, clearly well aware of his condition, didn't react much to Guanxin's bluntness. The middle-aged man, however, was a little anxious when he heard Guanxin could manage it. "Can it be managed?" "That's fine, as long as it doesn't get worse and doesn't relapse." He'd seen many other treatments, none of which had helped. This time, drawn to Guanxin's reputation, he unexpectedly found a solution. "That's no problem," Guanxin nodded. "Acupuncture once a week can manage the condition for a week. With proper care, living another 10 years shouldn't be a problem." 10 more years, the old man was delighted by Guanxin's words. 10 years, you can do a lot, thank you, Mr. Guan. We live in Yanjing. For the weekly acupuncture, we'll cover the consultation fee and the full round-trip expenses, the middle-aged man said. "I don't have time. The acupuncture must be done here," Guanxin ruthlessly refused. He naturally had his own rules for seeing patients and did not provide door-to-door services. The middle-aged man was a little embarrassed. His father was so old, and it would be a pain to make him go there every week. "What do you mean?" Before the middle-aged man could say anything, the middle-aged woman next to him exploded, pointing at Guanxin and shouting, "Do you know what my father's status is? Others have lined up to go to Yanjing to treat my father, but they don't have a chance. Letting you go is a sign of respect for you. Who do you think you are? Aren't you just an old Chinese doctor? In this way, the consultation fee will be doubled. Are you going or not?" Chapter 118 Medical Expert. "You should find someone else." Guanxin didn't even look at the middle-aged woman, and stood up directly, obviously meaning to send the guests away. The middle-aged man was furious when he saw his wife making a fuss. He had finally found an expert who could cure his father's disease, but he was offended by her yelling. Is Guanxin an ordinary doctor? He even charged double the consultation fee. Is he short of money? The middle-aged man was so angry that he jumped to his feet, swung his arm, and slapped the middle-aged woman in the face. "Weiwu, shut up." Weiwu was stunned for a moment, covering her face, and looked at her man stupidly. But her husband ignored him and quickly stepped forward to chase Guanxin. "Mr. Guan, don't argue with this prodigal woman. Don't be angry. We can discuss it." This middle-aged couple was the middle-aged waiter couple that Lin Yi met in the business district. The man was called Liu Xianyi and the woman was called Wu Huru. Guanxin was only slightly angry. After hearing what Liu Xianyi said, he felt that what he said made sense. He didn't need to argue with a shrewd woman. The patient was the most important thing. So, he stopped and turned back. "I'll stay here, Xianyi, you guys go back to Yanjing." But old Liu spoke, without even looking at Huru. It was obvious that he was also very disappointed with his daughter-in-law. "Dad, Liu Xianyi looked at him worriedly after hearing what his father said. "It's okay, you guys go back and get busy. I'm an old man who just needs some free time. Just treat it as a vacation. You guys rent a house for me nearby and I'll live here. It's close to Professor Guan and the environment is nice." Old Liu smiled and waved his hand. "Okay, Liu Xianyi knew that once his father made a decision, no one could change it, and he could only execute it. So he took out his mobile phone and made a call. Principal Zhang, this is Liu Xianyi. My father has decided to live in the school. Please arrange a house for me that is closer to Guan's hometown. I'll wait for your news. Before, Yang Huaijin stood aside and secretly speculated about the identities of the old man and the middle-aged couple. Now when he heard the call from the middle-aged man, he was even more surprised. This Principal Zhang should be the president of Songshan Medical University. With just one phone call from Liu Xianyi, he could actually arrange a house near Guanzuman. This is a bit unusual. You know, in this villa area, those who can live here are all at the dean level, especially near Guanzuman, which are all high-end villa areas. If he didn't have a special status, the principal wouldn't have to get him a house. Guanzuman finished arranging things for Elder Liu and turned to look at Yang Huaijin. Xiao Yang, you're here. Sit down first. We'll talk after we are done here. You can watch some TV or surf the internet for a while, okay, Grandpa Guan, don't worry about me. Go ahead and do your thing. Yang Huaijin and Guanzuman weren't already very familiar with each other. Without any formalities, he sat down in front of the TV, randomly changed the channel, and started watching. Guanzuman arranged Elder Liu's treatment plan. Acupuncture would start tomorrow, and Liu Xianyi was ready to leave with his father. By the way, Elder Guan, do you know a young doctor who is very good at massage? He should be a Chinese medicine doctor, right? Liu Xianyi suddenly thought of Lin Yi. In his opinion, Lin Yi's massage technique was very advanced. If he combined it with acupuncture, the effect should be more obvious. Liu Xianyi still remembered Lin Yi's miraculous massage technique that brought him back to life. It really proved the saying that ambition is not a matter of age. Is massage very effective? Guanzuman was slightly stunned. Are you talking about Chinese medicine massage? I think so. Liu Xianyi nodded. When we came here the day before yesterday, we were shopping in the commercial district when my father suddenly fell ill. There was no medicine at the time. At the critical moment, a young doctor helped my father with massage, and my father recovered quickly. Massage? Just massage can cure angina pectoris. Guanzuman was even more stunned. Although he knew that Chinese medicine was a magical discipline and that it could be said that one could learn it all one's life, even though Guanzuman had already enjoyed a high reputation at home and abroad, he was also very clear that he had only glimpsed the profoundness of Chinese medicine and was still far from mastering it. But he also knew that angina pectoris could not be solved by massage alone. It might be possible to control it through acupuncture. Although the chances were not very high, there was still hope. Even if it was me, I would use Western medicine for first aid, and after he recovered, I would use acupuncture to control the condition. Yes, he just massaged twice, and my father slowly recovered. Liu Xianyi saw Guanzuman's stunned expression and was shocked. Although he didn't understand Chinese medicine, he knew from Guanzuman's expression how amazing the young doctor's medical skills were that day. Even Guanzuman couldn't believe it. How is this possible? Guanzuman frowned. Massage can actually have such a magical effect. Didn't he use other methods? No, I was right next to him, and he just happened to pass by here. If he hadn't known the girl driving the car, he probably wouldn't have come to meddle. At this point, Liu Xianyi blushed a little and glared at his wife hatefully. If it weren't for the Wu family, he would have divorced this wife long ago. It was too embarrassing. She was a completely unreasonable shrew. I wonder what kind of family education she received when she was a child. Fortunately, Guanzuman wasn't interested in anything other than massage. He paused for a moment after hearing Liu Xianyi's words. Traditional Chinese medicine is profound and extensive. I've seen it mentioned in a medical book that in ancient times, people combined qigong with massage to treat illnesses, which could achieve this effect. However, it's been lost now, so I'm not sure. Does the person you're talking about know this technique? Oh? If so, wouldn't that person be very powerful? Liu Xianyi felt a little regretful. If he had known that young man had such amazing medical skills, how could he have let him go? Even if he had to beg him, he would have asked him if there was any hope of curing his father's illness. But he didn't know that at the time. If what you said is true, then this person's medical skills are probably better than mine. But when did such a powerful traditional Chinese medicine practitioner appear in Songshan City? How come I didn't know about it? Guanzuman tried hard to recall if he knew anyone like this, but unfortunately, not only did he not, he had never even heard of him. A young man about 20 years old, a little thin, but with very decent manners, Liu Xianyi carefully recalled Lin Yi's physical characteristics at the time. Chapter 119. It's too late to regret. Around 20, Guan Zuman's brow furrowed even deeper. So young, yet such remarkable medical skills? Could he be from some hidden family of miraculous healers? Although Guan Zuman had been elevated to a high position, renowned worldwide for his acupuncture skills, he was well aware that there were many others with exceptional medical skills who remained hidden from the public eye. In his youth, he had met someone from whom he had only learned the basics, yet his acupuncture skills had already made him world-renowned. So, while Guan Zuman was somewhat surprised to hear that the man was around 20, he didn't doubt it. The master he had met then wasn't very old either. However, Guan Zuman wasn't so naive as to believe that the man he had met back then could retain his youthful appearance after all these years. Besides, Liu Xianyi had mentioned around 20, while the man he had met was at least in his 30s. Could he have cultivated some kind of magical skill that allowed him to age ever more youthfully? It seemed impossible. Professor Guan, I saw that young man too, and I can confirm he's no more than 20. He has a mature, resolute air, but judging by his features, he's certainly not older. At this point, Elder Liu, who had been listening, spoke up. If that's the case, I honestly don't know which expert you're referring to. Among the renowned Chinese masseuses in Songshan City, the youngest is already in his 50s. Guan Zuman left the rest of the story unsaid, meaning that even with the most imperfect eyesight, it's impossible to mistake a man in his 50s or 60s for a 20-year-old. Is that so? Liu Xianyi said, somewhat disappointed. Then there's nothing we can do. Didn't you leave his contact information that day? Liu Xianyi was at a loss, but Guan Zuman was intrigued. How many masters of Chinese massage, with such miraculous results, could there be in the world? As a leading figure in the field of traditional Chinese medicine, Guan Zuman was eager to meet this master. Perhaps, if they could discuss this, he'd benefit greatly in acupuncture. Massage and acupuncture share many similarities, both utilizing acupuncture points for treatment. We did leave him our contact information, Liu Xianyi said, feeling slightly embarrassed. He hadn't given it much thought at the time, but today, seeing Guan Zuman's unusual expression, he realized just how formidable the person was. My father told him to contact us when he visits Yanjing. Guan Zuman smiled faintly, a smile tinged with a hint of disdain and indifference. If any ordinary doctor, upon learning of Mr. Liu's identity, had known him, he would probably have sought to curry favor. However, for a master physician, reclusive, this was nothing. A 20-year-old seeking fame and status could rise to prominence simply with his masterful massage techniques. However, Guan Zuman had never heard of such a person, suggesting he was indifferent to fame and fortune. This was quite rare for a 20-year-old. Guan Zuman recalled his own youth, having just received guidance from that master. Hadn't he also dreamed of achieving fame and fortune? Thinking of this, Guan Zuman couldn't help but feel a little ashamed. This was a true master. If such a master could take the initiative to contact old man Liu, it would be a miracle. Liu Xianyi didn't notice anything, but old man Liu, though old, was very shrewd. He read the hidden meaning in Guan Zuman's faint smile, and his heart couldn't help but skimp. He might have missed a good opportunity to cure his old ailment. Thinking carefully about Lin Yi's indifferent expression that day, it seemed as if there was something he hadn't said. Perhaps he really did have a solution. Thinking of this, old man Liu felt a little regretful. It seemed that he hadn't been enthusiastic enough. That day, it was obvious that Lin Yi had harbored a grudge against his family because of Wang Zinayan's incident. He only tried to save him so that his friend would not be implicated. If he contacts you, Mr. Liu, please notify me. Thank you. Guan Zuman had no other choice. In the current situation, he could only pin his hopes on the master's sudden inspiration and call the Liu family. It wasn't until this moment that Liu Xianyi's heart suddenly leaped. Guan Zuman had said trouble twice in a row. This tone and manner had never been used since they came here. Although the Liu family was powerful, Guan Zuman couldn't ask for anything from them. On the contrary, the major families all needed Guan Zuman's help. Therefore, the Liu family would not put on airs in front of Guan Zuman, which was why he had slapped his wife before. Can you just yell at Guan Zuman? If word got out, the other families would laugh their heads off, saying that the Liu family was stupid for daring to offend a miracle doctor. However, Guan Zuman had said the polite word trouble twice to him for a little doctor. No matter how dumb Liu Xianyi was, he now knew how important that little doctor was to Guan Zuman. He had just... Okay, definitely, Liu Xianyi was the superior after all. Although he felt regretful, his face remained calm and he spoke politely to Guan Zuman. Well, then you should prepare a place to stay first. We'll officially start the acupuncture tomorrow. Guan Zuman nodded and stood up, which also hinted at his intention to see the guests off. Okay, Professor Guan, we'll take our leave first. Liu Xianyi supported Mr. Liu and Wu Huru, who lowered her head and covered her face, and went downstairs. Guan Zuman did not go to see them off, but turned to look at Yang Huaijin. Xiao Yang, are you in a hurry? No, Grandpa Guan, those people before were... Yang Huaijin had never seen this family before. They didn't look like they were from the local area, especially since Liu Xianyi mentioned Yanjing. Oh, they are from the Liu family of Yanjing, a large family. The doctor is the old man of the Liu family, Liu Zhenhu. He is 80 years old this year and is still in good health, but he has some old ailments. Guan Zuman and Yang Huaijin were not shy and talked directly about the Liu family. The two of them were already very familiar with each other. So it's the Liu family of Yanjing. No wonder a phone call can make the principal prepare a house. Yang Huaijin smiled. Let's stick with the old routine. Acupuncture won't have much of an effect on you, but it's better than nothing. Hang in there. I'm going to Yanjing next week to hold a traditional Chinese medicine symposium. I'll use your condition as a case study and discuss it with others to see if there's any solution, Guan Zuman said. Haha, it's great to be able to hold on. Since I can't return to the battlefield, it's nice to do some down-to-earth work in the police force. Yang Huaijin was more open-minded. Chapter 120 Look at the prescription. If it's just about maintaining, then it's fine, Guan Zuman sighed. You know that those painkillers are very harmful to your body. Over time, let's not talk about whether these drugs are still effective or not, and whether your body has drug resistance. Even if not, you will be dragged down by the side effects of these painkillers. That's right. When Guan Zuman mentioned painkillers, Yang Huaijin suddenly thought of something, that is, the prescription that Lin Yi gave him. That day, he went to the pharmacy to get the medicine with the attitude of giving it a try. When he was in so much pain that he couldn't sleep at night, Yang Huaijin boiled the medicine and drank a few sips. The result was really amazing. Soon the pain in his body was gone. He slept until dawn, and his whole body felt indescribably comfortable. This was much better than taking painkillers, which would wear off in the middle of the night and he had to use them again. Yang Huaijin didn't expect that the prescription Lin Yi wrote down would be so effective. In the past few days, he has been drinking the medicine on this prescription, and it has indeed controlled the pain in his body. As expected of an eagle, Yang Huaijin, the soul-like existence in the team, sighed that he was inferior. Not only himself, but all the members of the team, as long as they had fought side by side with Lin Yi, all admired him. No one was jealous of the goddess in their minds being obsessed with Lin Yi, because they felt that this was a normal thing and it couldn't be more normal. Hearing Guan Zuman mention the painkiller, Yang Huaijin suddenly remembered the prescription Lin Yi gave him. He hesitated for a moment. Although Lin Yi didn't tell him not to tell anyone, Lin Yi might be carrying out some special mission now. What if telling him brought him trouble? But on the other hand, Guan Zuman was his elder. If it weren't for Guan Zuman when he came back from the battlefield, he would have lost his life long ago. These days, he's been relying on Guan Zuman's acupuncture and painkillers to keep him alive. Grandpa Guan, a few days ago, a friend gave me a prescription that can replace painkillers. I tried it, and it's very effective. The effect is much longer than painkillers, and usually only one dose a night is enough. Yang Huaijin decided to only tell part of the story, not the whole story, so that both sides could be explained. Prescription? Replacement for painkillers? Guan Zuman's eyes widened. Traditional Chinese medicine? Yes, Yang Huaijin, a little embarrassed by Guan Zuman's glare, nodded. And it works for you? Guan Zuman was more shocked today than he had been in most of his life. Previously, he'd heard Liu Xianyi say that a 20-year-old miracle doctor had saved Grandpa Liu from a heart attack with just massage. And here, someone gave Yang Huaijin a prescription that could replace Western medicine painkillers, and it was effective, even more effective than painkillers. What was going on in this world? When did the field of traditional Chinese medicine go so crazy, with so many masters appearing? Grandpa Guan, I won't hide it from you. This prescription is very effective for me. After drinking it, it not only suppresses the pain in my body, but also makes me feel refreshed the next day, Yang Huaijin said truthfully. Oh? Can you show me the prescription? Guan Zuman was initially a little worried whether the prescription contained banned drugs such as poppy seeds. If so, it would be normal for the analgesic effect to be obvious, but the damage to the body would be great. However, on second thought, Yang Huaijin is a policeman, and a captain of the criminal police team. How could he not know what poppy flowers are? How could he possibly touch the thing? Besides, this kind of thing is not something that can be bought in ordinary pharmacies. Since Yang Huaijin got the medicine according to the prescription, the medicines on it must be very common and can be sold in ordinary pharmacies. Thinking of this, Guan Zuman knew that he had overthought it a bit. Seeing Yang Huaijin's somewhat stunned look, Guan Zuman smiled bitterly. Many prescriptions are top secret. Take, for example, the legendary Dr. Kang. Didn't he build a pharmaceutical group based on a single trauma medicine recipe? He even established a supply relationship with the military, turning the Kang family into a cutting-edge aristocratic family. If Yang Huaijin's analgesic recipe is truly that effective and has no side effects, then its value should be no less than that of Dr. Kang's trauma medicine. He actually asked to see the prescription. This was indeed a bit unreasonable. So he hurriedly explained, Xiao Yang, don't think too much. I know that many prescriptions are confidential. I wanted to take a look before, and I also wanted to see if there were any herbs with side effects. Grandpa Guan, although the prescription is not easy to pass on, it's okay for you to see it. Yang Huaijin was stunned, and then said, I'll take it out and show it to you, but before my friend allows it, I hope Grandpa Guan won't spread it out, of course. I still understand these rules. Xiao Yang, don't worry, Grandpa won't make it difficult for you. I won't use this prescription for others without your friend's clear consent. Guan Zuman was overjoyed after hearing what Yang Huaijin said. Even if this kind of prescription cannot be used, taking a look at it will give him a lot of inspiration. After Yang Huaijin got the medicine that day, he put it in his pocket. After taking it out, he handed it to Guan Zuman. Yang Huaijin knew Lin Yi's character. If it was something that needed to be kept secret, he would tell him clearly. Since he didn't say it, it meant that there was no need to keep it secret. But after all, without Lin Yi's personal authorization, Yang Huaijin still asked Guan Zuman not to spread it. Guan Zuman carefully took the prescription and read it. At first, it seemed fine, but as he read out the names of the herbs one by one, the look of astonishment on his face became more and more intense. Is this a prescription? Guan Zuman was a little dumbfounded on the spot. The herbs on it couldn't be more ordinary, and none of them were particularly expensive. However, some of them, such as Gastrodia elata, did have the effect of relieving labor pains and calming the nerves. However, these medicines had been used on Yang Huaijin before, but the effect was not very obvious. Could it be that when these herbs were put together, they had a different miraculous effect? Although Guan Zuman was surprised, he was also a leader in the field of traditional Chinese medicine. He knew that in many cases, if one medicine was missing from a prescription, the efficacy would vary greatly. These medicines were basically used to treat neuralgia and muscle pain. There was nothing special about them. The only thing Guan Zuman was sure of was that the medicine was definitely not poisonous and did not contain overbearing substances like poppy seeds. This is the prescription, Grandpa Guan. Is there any problem? Yang Huaijin asked with some confusion when he saw Guan Zuman's shocked expression. Chapter 121 Lin Yi is a miracle doctor. No, Guan Zuman shook his head. Traditional Chinese medicine is truly profound. I've learned a lot today. Just a few ordinary herbs, combined together, can actually produce miraculous effects. I don't understand the underlying mechanism yet, but since you're experiencing results, it proves the prescription is genuine, then I can take it with confidence. Yang Huaijin had previously taken the medicine without hesitation, completely out of trust in Lin Yi. On the battlefield, someone you could trust with your back, why wouldn't you trust him? How could he possibly kill you? But now, hearing Guan Zuman's positive assessment of the prescription, Yang Huaijin was incredulous. Even Guan Zuman's words proved the recipe's miraculous power. Of course. The person who gave you the prescription must be a master of traditional Chinese medicine, right? Guan Zuman sighed. Of course, I'm not asking for his name. I just want to meet him and ask him some questions if the opportunity arises. Grandpa Guan, if I see him again, I'll convey your message to him. But, at this point, Yang Huaijin hesitated. I understand. If he doesn't see me, it's okay. Haha, I do have some self-awareness. Miracle doctors are usually busy, Guan Zuman said with understanding. Miracle doctor? Yang Huaijin was stunned. Lin Yi was a miracle doctor? He knew he was a god of war on the battlefield, but he didn't know he was a miracle doctor. While the healing medicine he brought from home was quite effective, it was still far from the image of a miracle doctor, right? Okay, I'll pass it on, Yang Huaijin nodded, not wanting to say much. That's good, Xiao Yang. You look good. Clearly, the prescription is working. So, if your body doesn't develop a resistance, maintaining this shouldn't be a problem. Guan Zuman began observing Yang Huaijin the moment he entered the room. Traditional Chinese medicine emphasizes observation, which refers to visual diagnosis. This involves observing the patient's spirit, complexion, shape, posture, and tongue to detect internal organ disease. Through extensive medical practice, traditional Chinese medicine has gradually recognized the close relationship between the body's external appearance, especially the face, tongue texture, and tongue coating, and the internal organs. If there are changes in the yin and yang, qi, and blood of the internal organs, they will inevitably be reflected on the surface of the body. As the Lingshu, Benzangpian states, observe the external manifestations to understand the internal organs, and then you will know the cause of the disease. The legendary Dr. Bian determined Duke Huan of K's condition through observation. Bian looked at Duke Huan and then turned away, indicating that Bian knew that Duke Huan of K was beyond help after just one glance, and left without further delay. Although Guan Zuman hadn't reached Bian's level, he could still see that Yang Huaijin's complexion was significantly better than before, clearly the result of taking the traditional Chinese medicine. Then can the painkillers be discontinued? This was great news. Yang Huaijin hadn't expected his amazing captain to give him another big surprise. Of course that can be stopped, even acupuncture is not needed, Guan Zuman said. The acupuncture in the past was just to help you refresh your mind, stimulate your nerves, and relieve the damage to the nerves caused by analgesics. But it is no longer necessary now. You are full of energy and you don't need me anymore, Grandpa Guan. That's not what I meant. Yang Huaijin got anxious when he heard it. My friend's prescription. It was really difficult for Yang Huaijin to explain. He was afraid that Guan Zuman would have some ideas. After all, he had been looking for him for medical treatment. He suddenly took the prescription given by someone else in the middle of the treatment without telling Guan Zuman in advance. This meant that he didn't trust others. However, Yang Huaijin really couldn't refuse the person who gave him the prescription. Compared with Guan Zuman, Yang Huaijin and Lin Yi have a closer relationship. Haha, look at you, Xiao Yang, why are you so nervous? If you can find a more powerful doctor to treat you, I would be so happy. There is really no need for me not to give you acupuncture. Guan Zuman saw what Yang Huaijin was thinking and explained with a smile. Besides, I also said that I am very happy to meet such a powerful person. In front of him, I can only be called an apprentice. How could I be unhappy about such a thing? I see, I think too much. Yang Huaijin also breathed a sigh of relief. Grandpa Guan, I will definitely convey your meaning to you, but he can't decide whether to see me or not, of course. Guan Zuman nodded. Xiao Yang, even if you don't do acupuncture in the future, please come to see me often. We have been together for so long, and I miss you a little when you suddenly stop coming. Don't worry, Grandpa Guan, I will come when I am free. Yang Huaijin agreed. After leaving Guan Zuman's villa, Yang Huaijin decided to find Lin Yi and tell him about Guan Zuman and the prescription. After all, he had taken the initiative to show it to Guan Zuman. In the morning, Lin Yi made mixed fried rice with the leftovers from the previous day's Chu Pengzhan family dinner. He ate a bite himself and left the rest for Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. He returned to his room to take the Chinese medicine he had prepared for Yang Huaijin, intending to bring it to him if he had time today. As the saying goes, one should be grateful for what one has received, and one should be grateful for what one has received. After eating the fried rice Lin Yi made, Chu Mengyao surprisingly didn't give him a cold look. Instead, her face flushed. This surprised Lin Yi, and he wondered if this girl would change her mind. Since she couldn't get rid of him, she was going to use other methods to punish him. After all, he and Chu Mengyao had a small misunderstanding in the past, where she drank a soda that had his saliva on it. While it wasn't a big deal for him, it was a bit serious for a conservative girl who had never had a boyfriend. Therefore, Lin Yi could understand Chu Mengyao's glaring at him. It wasn't a big deal. As for Chen Yushu, She was looking at the problem from the perspective of an outsider, so her relationship with her was different. Lin Yi? You don't want to eat? Chu Mengyao glanced at Lin Yi, who came out of the room, and asked. I've eaten, you guys can eat. Lin Yi changed into the school uniform again. Oh, why are you wearing a school uniform again? Where are the clothes I bought for you yesterday? Chu Mengyao frowned as she looked at the school uniform on Lin Yi. The school did not force students to wear school uniforms. In high school, the requirements were not as strict as those for elementary school students. Students with slightly better family conditions would not wear school uniforms all day long. Of course, except for Tang Yun, whose family conditions were really poor, the school uniform could not hide her beauty. The title of the common school belle made Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu well known. This school belle, who was as famous as the two of them, was. Chapter 122, The Beautiful School Days. I think it's great. If you don't like it, I'll go change it back. Lin Yi didn't care. He just wanted to experience students' life more fully, a time so distant from him. Once it was within his reach, Lin Yi desperately tried to fit in. There was no hardship back home, no tension and crisis on the battlefield, no thrill of missions. Everything was so comfortable, and Lin Yi kind of liked his current life. Why hasn't that girl from the next class passed by my window yet? Snacks in mouth, comics in hand, childhood first love in mind. When Lin Yi used to listen to this song, he always felt that life was so far away. He and the characters in the song were from completely different worlds. Just imagine, the school beauty from the next class passing by his window, and then a little flirtation would happen. How exciting would it be? That's why Lin Yi used to read rebirth novels to reminisce about it, such as Rebirth Chasing Beauty by Yu Ren Erdai. It captured this kind of pure campus life, which made Lin Yi reminisce. If the young lady and her employer Chu Pengzhan had no objection, she could try to develop a pure relationship. For example, with Tang Yun, or with Chen Yashun? Why did she think of this bad girl? Lin Yi glanced at Chen Yashu. It must be said that Chen Yashu was very beautiful and had a great figure. However, the key issue is that she was the young lady's best friend. After thinking about it, he decided to forget it, otherwise the young lady would really get angry. Oh, whether you change or not, what does it have to do with me? What do you mean I don't like it? It's up to you. Chu Mengyao felt a little angry after hearing what Lin Yi said. If it were another boy, she would buy him a piece of clothing and he would want to wear it every day. But Lin Yi was different. Chu Mengyao wanted to say, of course I like you wearing yesterday's clothes, but when the words came to her lips, they turned into the pride and self-esteem of a young lady. Sighing deeply in her heart, Chu Mengyao felt a little self-pitying. She just didn't have Xiaoshu's toughness and dared to say anything. Oh, then I'll wear it tomorrow, Lin Yi smiled. Yet, Sister Yao told me last night that you still look handsome in casual clothes, Chen Yashu interrupted. Xiaoshu, Chu Mengyao was furious. She had thought Chen Yashu was tough, but she had let slip the entire conversation from last night. Lin Yi glanced at Chu Mengyao with some surprise. He hadn't expected even the most senior lady to speak the truth. As they were talking, Uncle Fu's car pulled up to the entrance of the villa and honked twice. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu put down their chopsticks, picked up their school bags, and headed for the villa. Lin Yi glanced at the leftovers on the table. He didn't need to clean up right away, he was sure Uncle Fu would come by at noon. So, he grabbed his school bag and left the villa. This time, Chu Pengzhan was gone, and Lin Yi remained in the front passenger seat. The car slowly started and drove towards the school. When they arrived near the school, Lin Yi, quite conscientious, asked Uncle Fu to stop the car before getting out. Looking at Lin Yi's back, Chen Yashu said, Sister Yao, you're not really acting as a shield, let me think about it. I can't accept suddenly having a boyfriend. Chu Mengyao shook her head awkwardly. Even though it's fake, no one else knows. Oh, if everyone knew it was fake, what's the point? Chen Yashu was speechless. Lin Yi had barely taken a few steps after getting off the bus when he heard someone calling him. Turning around, he saw Kang Xiaobo running towards them at full speed. Not far behind him, was it Tang Yun? It looked like they had taken the same bus. Boss, what was the car? Kang Xiaobo had just seen Lin Yi get out of a luxury car. Although he couldn't see it clearly from a distance, it looked like it was worth over $1 million. Oh, it's a friend's car. He happened to be passing by and gave me a ride, Lin Yi said calmly. Chu Mengyao hadn't let him talk nonsense, and Lin Yi wouldn't gossip. This was even better. He was still thinking about developing a pure relationship. What if people knew he was a young lady's henchman? What good would that be? Oh, that looks like a pretty cool car. Kang Xiaobo was a little envious. He suddenly slapped the back of his head and lowered his voice mysteriously. Boss, guess who I took the same bus with today? Tang Yun, Lin Yi said. Huh? Kang Xiaobo was stunned. How did you know? She's not far behind you, is she? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I'm not blind. Hey, this was something I was really excited about, but now that you've said that, it seems so ordinary. Kang Xiaobo looked depressed. I wasn't really that excited to begin with, Lin Yi said. That girl Tang Yun is a little troublemaker. Whoever touches her will be in trouble. Lin Yi, what are you talking about? Tang Yun had seen Kang Xiaobo since she got on the bus, but had ignored him. When he got off, she saw him running into Lin Yi, and Tang Yun's attention was focused on him. Tang Yun watched Lin Yi get out of the luxury car. She scoffed at as in Kang Xiaobo's explanation about a friend's car. Isn't he just a rich young man pretending to be poor at school? Yesterday he was wearing high-end casual clothes, today he's in his school uniform. Tang Yun thought Lin Yi was quite hypocritical. Suddenly hearing Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo talking about her, Tang Yun pricked up her ears. When Lin Yi started to make fun of her, she instinctively blurted out something. After she finished speaking, she felt a little regretful. She didn't want to get too entangled with Lin Yi. She didn't deny that Lin Yi looked very masculine. It wasn't just handsomeness that made him masculine, this masculinity was a unique charm. Tang Yun, a young woman in love, wasn't blind. Lin Yi was far superior to Zhu Ruoming. But she felt that wealthy young men like him were just playing around with women. She has seen too many examples, such as her childhood playmates. Whenever she thinks of her playmates being abandoned by their boyfriends who cheated on her, Tang Yun feels sad and helpless. Who made her family and her family both vulnerable groups? You can't just go to that young man's house and cry and make a scene? It's hard to say whether he will open the door or not. Lin Yi didn't expect that Tang Yun, who is not far behind, would care about his conversation with Kang Xiaobo. He was shocked and turned around and said with a wry smile, she said you are good looking. You Tang Yun's face flushed with anger. She glared at Lin Yi hatefully, walked over quickly, stepped hard on the back of Lin Yi's foot, and then ignored Lin Yi and walked forward without looking back. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 The Zhong Family Father and Son. Although Lin Yi didn't feel much pain, he still gave a forced smile. It looked like Tang Yun really disliked him. He had been thinking about developing a pure love relationship this morning, but it was shattered so quickly. It seemed that Tang Yun was 80% impossible, and Shen Yashu was the only one left, which seemed unlikely either. Boss, why does Tang Yun seem so resentful towards you? Kang Xiaobo couldn't understand why Tang Yun had been glaring at Lin Yi since they met, even though they didn't know each other before. If I knew, wouldn't the problem be solved? Lin Yi explained speechlessly. That's true, eh? Boss, do you think it's possible that Tang Yun likes you? Kang Xiaobo suddenly said. Huh? Like me? What do you mean? Lin Yi was stunned and looked at Kang Xiaobo in astonishment. I heard that a few years ago at school, there was a girl on the student council in their class who had a crush on him and always gave him trouble. Whenever he skipped class, she would scold him, Kang Xiaobo said. Do you think the same could be true for Tang Yun? Lin Yi rolled his eyes. You have to stick to the facts, right? That's possible, but Tang Yun has only known me for 2.5 days, and she already likes me? Is that possible? Lin Yi shook his head. If that were the case, the young lady would always find me unpleasant and give me trouble, so does that mean she likes me too? That's true. Kang Xiaobo laughed dryly and walked towards the school with Lin Yi. When they were almost at the school gate, Kang Xiaobo suddenly pointed to a place not far ahead and said, Boss, look, it's Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu. Oh, Lin Yi had been keeping an eye on Chu Mengyao and Shen Yashu out of the corner of his eye, so he wasn't surprised. Huh? Boss, look at the car they were riding in. It looks like the same car you were in. Kang Xiaobo's ability to spot things was impressive. Really? Aren't they quite the same? Lin Yi chuckled. Let's go. Forget about them. That's true. It's too far away from us, unrealistic. Kang Xiaobo sighed. a look of vicissitudes. I know all too well how the rich feel, so high and mighty they are. Lin Yi didn't know why Kang Xiaobo suddenly expressed such emotion, but from what he had seen over the past few days, Kang Xiaobo's family background wasn't particularly good, but it wasn't bad either. It was probably average, so what did he mean by that? However, to distract Kang Xiaobo from the car, Lin Yi didn't ask any further questions and hurried into the school with him. A Mercedes-Benz S-Class was parked not far from the school gate, still some distance away from Uncle Fu's Bentley, but it didn't approach. That old man Li Fu's car is ahead, so he can't go through. Do you remember what I said? Zhang Fabei glared at his son in the passenger seat, admonishing him with a hint of disappointment. Remember, Dad, Zhong Pinliang replied cautiously, I won't meddle in those matters anymore. The so-called matters he was referring to were naturally Lin Yi's affairs. He didn't dare to say that he was the one who was causing trouble for Lin Yi, but instead blamed Zhang Neipao for causing trouble for Lin Yi. Zhang Neipao had been stepped on by Lin Yi, so he went to retaliate, thus alleviating some of his own responsibility. Zhang Fabei, a half-black and half-white gangster, naturally valued brotherhood, so he didn't overly lash out at Zhong Pinliang for retaliating on his brother's behalf. He simply scolded Zhong Pinliang and told him to mind his own business. Do you know how this nearly ruined my plans? He sent my right-hand man, Black Panther, to jail. He'll probably be stuck there for years. Luckily, he doesn't know much, otherwise, Zhang Fabei snorted. Remember this, your first priority at school is to seduce that chick, Chu Mengyao. Don't even think about anything else. Do you understand? I know, Dad. I'll try my best, Zhong Pinliang quickly promised. Well, if you can get Chu Mengyao, your dad won't have to worry about your uncle anymore. Zhang Fabei patted Zhong Pinliang on the shoulder. Alright, go ahead. Hurry. Make it a done deal before that old fox, Chu Pengzhan, reacts. Otherwise, it'll be too late. Zhang Fabei wasn't stupid. He did have some influence in Songshan City, but it was nothing compared to Chu Pengzhan. If Chu Pengzhan openly sought a son-in-law, he definitely wouldn't be interested in Zhong Pinliang, so Zhang Fabei had his son strike first. Zhong Pinliang meekly agreed to his father's words. Although he hated Lin Yi in his heart, without his father's support, Zhong Pinliang really couldn't do anything to Lin Yi with his own strength. If his father gave his full support and sent a team of security guards from the nightclub, Zhong Pinliang didn't believe Lin Yi could defeat 4 people with 2 fists. Even if he could, what about 10 or 20? He just couldn't believe he couldn't be killed. Lin Yi, I'll let you go for now. When I hook up with Chu Mengyao, and my father is happy and mobilizes his troops for me, that will be your death. Zhong Pinliang thought bitterly. Even though he didn't feel very willing, he could only hold it in his heart. He wanted to see if he could find a way to cause Lin Yi some trouble and disgust him. As long as it wasn't a head-on confrontation, Lin Yi wouldn't suspect him. Yao, Zhong Pinliang sprinted after him. Sister Yao, the flies are here again. I told you that if you had just gotten together with Brother Arrow earlier, you wouldn't have so many troubles, Chen Yushu said with a smile, pointing behind her. Chu Mengyao rolled her eyes and turned away helplessly. Zhong Pinliang, are you deaf? Zhong Pinliang was stunned. Why did Chu Mengyao suddenly say that she was deaf? What was going on? He should have been the one calling her. Why was she calling herself? Yao, what do you mean? What do you mean by deaf? Zhong Pinliang was puzzled. Last time you called me Yao at the school gate, I told you not to call me Yao, but my full name. So, I can only think that either you have an IQ problem and poor comprehension ability, or you are deaf, Chu Mengyao said. Zhong Pinliang's face suddenly turned very bad after being ridiculed by Chu Mengyao. He thought to himself, you little girl, aren't you just a little prettier and from a better family? Wait until I catch up with you, just wait and see how I will deal with you. But now that he couldn't catch up, Zhong Pinliang was naturally very flattering. Haha, isn't my uncle a colleague of Uncle Chu? We are also old friends. I thought it would be more friendly to call you Yao. Oh, then call me whatever you want. Chu Mengyao was really too lazy to pay attention to him. Zhong Pinliang was immediately happy when he heard Chu Mengyao's words. Does this mean that Chu Mengyao agreed to let him call her Yao? However, Chu Mengyao's next words disappointed Zhong Pinliang. You can call me Yao. But I don't agree. Chapter 124 Come to the door. Watching Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu depart, Zhong Pinliang took a deep breath and clenched his fists. What was wrong with him? Why did Chu Mengyao look down on him? Liangzi, what are you thinking about? Zhong Pinliang was just sulking when someone tapped his shoulder. Turning around, he saw it was Zhu Ruiming. Oh, Brother Ming, it's nothing. How could Zhong Pinliang spill his guts? Oh, Zhu Ruiming didn't really bother to ask Zhong Pinliang about his awful deeds. He had something else to ask him about. Liangzi, I need to ask you something. Who is this Lin Yi from your class? Zhu Ruiming hated Lin Yi to the core, even more than Zhong Pinliang himself. Seeing that he was about to succeed in picking up a girl on Friday, forcing Tang Yun to make a choice, only to have it ruined by Lin Yi, Zhu Ruiming was furious. However, he didn't dare act rashly. After being slapped in the face by Lin Yi, he didn't dare say a word. Zhu Ruiming was a bit stunned by the Black Panther incident. He wanted to see how Zhong Pinliang, with his family background, would handle this matter. So, he didn't go directly to Lin Yi. Although his family was also well off, their business wasn't as big as Zhong Fabei's. His brother, Zhu Ruoguang, was a gang leader in the North District, with some ruthless underlings. However, to his disappointment, after waiting for a few days, the Zhong family hadn't responded. Black Panther had been imprisoned, and there was no news of him being rescued. He was probably going to be sentenced. This made Zhu Ruiming a little confused. What kind of background did Lin Yi have? Lin Yi, a migrant worker, Zhong Pinliang said disdainfully. He had never thought that his father was once a migrant worker, and he also looked down on his father. Migrant worker, Zhu Ruiming thought his ears were wrong. How could he be a migrant worker? Migrant workers came here to attend high school? What kind of a joke was this? He transferred here later. I heard his hometown is in the mountains. On the first day of school, he was wearing rags, like a migrant worker. Zhong Pinliang's eyes lit up as he explained. He suddenly realized why Zhu Ruiming was asking him about Lin Yi. Was he planning to attack Lin Yi? It hadn't been said that Zhu Ruiming and Lin Yi had a grudge against each other. Really? Then why didn't you seek revenge after you suffered such a huge loss a few days ago? Zhu Ruiming didn't quite believe what Zhong Pinliang said. After all, if Lin Yi was just a migrant worker, as Zhong Pinliang said, how could he remain indifferent after suffering such a huge loss? Don't mention it, Zhong Pinliang smiled bitterly and shook his head. I called Black Panther out without permission, and my dad scolded me. You know, he doesn't approve of me stirring up trouble at school. And I'm no match for that Lin Yi kid. He's from the countryside, so he's incredibly strong. There's no way I could do anything to him. Zhong Pinliang could tell that Zhu Ruiming and Lin Yi were definitely having some affair, but he didn't know the details. That didn't stop him from exaggerating. If Zhu Ruiming taught Lin Yi a lesson, he wouldn't object. So that means Lin Yi doesn't really have much social background. Zhu Ruiming was afraid that Lin Yi's family background was impressive, and if he messed with him, he'd be in big trouble. I didn't notice, Brother Ming, why do you keep asking about this kid? Zhong Pinliang pretended not to understand Zhu Ruiming. Oh. Nothing, just curious, Zhu Ruiming said, I'm leaving now. The guys asked me to play basketball. Zhong Pinliang curled his lips. Curious? Curiosity is bullshit, but it looks like Zhu Ruiming is going to take action, which is good news. During the third period of physical exercise, Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo just walked out of the classroom when they saw the Dean of Studies, Wang Xifeng, hurried over. When Wang Xifeng saw Lin Yi, a solemn look suddenly appeared on his face. Student Lin Yi, come with me. Oh, okay. Lin Yi knew that Wang Xifeng was pretending to be serious in front of Kang Xiaobo. His relationship with him was a bit weird, but he couldn't let it be exposed. He patted Kang Xiaobo on the shoulder. You go to the physical exercise first. The dean wants to see me. Okay. Although Kang Xiaobo was a little worried, he didn't ask too many questions with the dean in front of him, so he had to leave first. After Kang Xiaobo left, Lin Yi asked, "What's up, Director Wang?" "Well, Captain Yang from the police's criminal investigation team is here. He wants to see you." Wang Xifeng smiled wryly. "I think it's probably about what happened last week. Be careful, don't talk nonsense. Just say you don't know anything. I'll handle everything else on behalf of the school." Wang Xifeng was quite considerate, proactively taking the blame for Lin Yi. It seemed he genuinely wanted to build a good relationship with Lin Yi. While Lin Yi's surprise encounter with him that day was a factor, Chu Pengzhan was also a factor. Okay, when Lin Yi heard it was Yang Huaijin, he knew it couldn't be about last week's incident. It was most likely that the medicine he'd given him was working, and this guy couldn't help but come looking. However, The timing was good. If it were any other day, the criminal investigation team leader coming to the school to look for one of his students would definitely arouse suspicion. But with last week's incident as a cover-up, no one would suspect anything. The two men arrived at the academic affairs office. Wang Xixing pushed the door open first and said, "Captain Yang, I've brought Lin Yi here. However, we agreed beforehand that I can only ask about the situation, but if I want to take him away, I must notify the principal, just to get to know the situation." Yang Huaijin smiled. "Don't worry, Director Wang. It won't cause any trouble for your work. Do you think you could step aside for a while? In that case, then you two can talk." Wang Xixing nodded, letting Lin Yi in. He then left the academic affairs office and closed the door behind him. "How is it? Is the prescription I gave you working?" Lin Yi asked, casually sitting down on a nearby sofa after Wang Xixing left. "Ying, you're amazing. The prescription is actually better than those painkillers." Yang Huaijin excitedly punched Lin Yi, but Lin Yi cleverly dodged without leaving a trace. "Call me Lin Yi," Lin Yi corrected him. "Okay, if you say Lin Yi, then Lin Yi." Yang Huaijin didn't care. The name was just a code name. "Lin Yi, there is something I must apologize to you for. I showed the prescription you gave me to the doctor who treated me, but he also promised not to spread it. Haha, let me see it. It can also help more people." Lin Yi smiled and didn't mind Yang Huaijin's approach at all. What did he say? Chapter 125. She's a little tiger. "He wants to see you, but I haven't agreed yet. I just told him to try to help him contact someone," Yang Huaijin said. "I don't know what mission you are carrying out this time, and it's not good to ask too much. If it's not convenient for you, there is no need to meet." Mission. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and touched his nose. "I really don't know what this mission is all about. I am still confused. Since he is your savior, how can I not meet him?" "Yes, of course I will meet him." "Huh? Don't force it." Yang Huaijin was moved. He knew that Lin Yi was not a person who liked to meddle in other people's business. If it weren't for him this time, Lin Yi would not have the time to meet a stranger. Why force it? "I'm free anyway," Lin Yi smiled. "Besides, I now have you as the criminal police captain as my backing, so it will be easier for me to get things done in Songshan City." "Okay, set a time." Yang Huaijin didn't waste any words. With such a good relationship with Lin Yi, there was no need to say thank you too much. That would be vulgar. "Tomorrow? Go talk to Wang Xixing and tell him to take me to the police station to give a statement tomorrow so I can get out of this. Otherwise, I'll be considered absent from class, and I don't want to do that." Lin Yi pointed in the direction of the door and said. "Okay, I'll go talk to him later." Yang Huaijin nodded. This was all a small matter. "By the way, when I came in and heard what you said, I forgot about the business. I prescribed some medicine for you. Go back and drink it. After the first stage, the condition in your body will be greatly relieved. I'll give you the second stage of medicine. In about 3 months, you can return to normal," Lin Yi said. 3 months? Yang Huaijin was stunned and stared at Lin Yi blankly. "If it's faster, it will take about 2 months. Lin Yi thought. Yang Huaijin thought it was a long time. "Although the Chinese medicine soup is not very tasty, you have to endure it for 2 months for the purpose of curing the disease." "Lin Yi, you are kidding, right? In 2 months, my body will be back to normal? Like a normal person?" Yang Huaijin was a little excited. "Really? The doctor said that if my condition can be maintained and not worsen, it is already a great fortune. I can actually return to normal." "Well, so you are not afraid of taking medicine?" Lin Yi smiled. "You don't believe what I say?" "Believe it. Of course I believe it. It's just that I'm too surprised." Yang Huaijin was really surprised, but he was absolutely convinced by Lin Yi's words. On the battlefield, there were countless crises when they were about to be caught up by the enemy. It was only thanks to Lin Yi's correct judgment time and time again that he was able to escape danger and then kill the enemy with a surprise attack. Therefore, Lin Yi's prestige is supreme in the team, and Lin Yi's words are also executed absolutely without reservation by the team members. "You kid, I'm afraid of taking medicine? You don't feel anything when the bullet hits your body, and you are afraid of taking Chinese medicine? Are you mocking me?" "Oh, that's not necessarily true. I've seen some people who are not afraid of anything but injections and taking medicine." Lin Yi smiled and said, "Come with me to the classroom and get it for you later." "Captain, you are so awesome." Yang Huaijin really couldn't describe the joy in his heart with words. He originally thought that he was earning every day he lived, and he would live one day at a time. When the painkillers and massage were no longer effective, he could die. But he didn't expect Lin Yi to be able to cure it. However, although Lin Yi was a soul-like existence in the team, Yang Huaijin still couldn't hide his shock. Lin Yi was definitely not very old. If I was right, he was about the same age as Xiaoning, 7 or 8 years younger than me. Yet, he seemed to be omnipotent and knew everything. I wondered where he'd learned it. Honestly, I kind of miss those days, the constant hail of bullets. Lin Yi sighed when Yang Huaijin addressed him as Captain. Yeah, and Xiaoning too. Yang Huaijin stopped talking at this point, noticing how Lin Yi's expression darkened at the mention of those two words. Let's not talk about that, Lin Yi sighed. What's past is past, but Xiaoning's still asking about you. Although Yang Huaijin felt sorry for Xiaoning, he didn't want to disobey the captain's wishes. Then tell her Ying is dead, Lin Yi said calmly, a trace of sadness in his eyes. Indeed, he had now regained his identity. Every mission was a new beginning for him. When the mission was over, so was his life. But, Yang Huaijin was about to say something, but was interrupted by Lin Yi. Just tell her so next time you see her, Lin Yi said, a short pain is worse than a long one. You know very well that we are not suitable. I might die one day. You don't want her to be a widow, do you? Yang Huaijin lowered his head helplessly. Lin Yi was right. His life was more dangerous than his current job as a police officer. Although Lin Yi was like a god of war, who could guarantee that a god of war would not die? Then what about Yuan Xiao Song from our team? Yang Huaijin suddenly thought of Song Lingshan. She seemed to have an ambiguous relationship with Lin Yi. I said it has nothing to do with her. Do you believe it? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He didn't expect that even Yang Huaijin had heard about what happened in the hospital. The news spread too fast. Okay, I believe it, Yang Huaijin nodded, but from a professional point of view, you and her are quite compatible. This girl always rushes to the front line and goes wherever there is danger. Haha, I can see that she is a little fierce. Lin Yi smiled. Actually, she is quite cute. Why, don't you consider it? The age difference is too big. People treat me as an older brother. If I have any ideas, wouldn't it be dirty? Yang Huaijin smiled. Besides, I can't decide my marriage. You know, now that I have transferred to the local area, the family has also regarded me as a member of the overall layout. Maybe after the new year next year, they will arrange a blind date for me. Let's go. Follow me to get the medicine. Lin Yi stood up and walked towards the door. Yang Huaijin quickly got up and followed. Wang Zifan didn't walk far and waited quietly at the window at the end of the corridor. Seeing the door of the academic affairs office open, Wang Zifan walked over quickly. Captain Yang, how is it? Is there anything wrong? It's been figured out. It's nothing serious. Lin Yi was just acting in self-defense. He can go to the police station to make a statement tomorrow. Yang Huaijin nodded to Wang Zifan. Lin Yi and I will go to his class to get some materials. Director Wang, you don't have to go over? Oh, good. Wang Zifan was relieved when he heard Yang Huaijin say that nothing was wrong. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.